Chapter 2841, My personality is a bit stubborn. Star Lords are very powerful, especially the 28 Star Lords represented by the most famous constellations on the origin continent, each one a pinnacle powerhouse. However, becoming a Star Lord is very difficult. Although the position of Star Lord is not fixed, the positions of the 28 most powerful Star Lords have never changed. Some new Star Lords have emerged over time, but none have reached the heights of the 28 Star Lords. The Falling Star Lord is one of the 28 Star Lords, a top-tier Star Lord, on par with the Horned Dragon Star Lord. On the origin continent, countless people dream of inheriting his legacy and becoming the new Falling Star Lord. But now, the Falling Star Lord says that his position is not worthy of Lin Moyu. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt a bit awkward and couldn't help but ask, "Do you really think that highly of me?" Lin Moyu humbly said, "You flatter me. I am just a heavenly sovereign with aspirations but have not yet achieved the great Tao. Perhaps one day, I might regret it and want the position of Star Lord." The Falling Star Lord suddenly laughed heartily. "Well said. You are courageous and diligent, yet know when to stop at the edge of a cliff. You are even more outstanding than I thought. A genius like you, who can comprehend the great Tao lock at the heavenly sovereign realm, is indeed rare. In the future, you may achieve the great Tao. If not, you can seek other methods later. But I am still a bit unwilling. After so many years, I finally found someone who meets my standards, but it turned out like this." Lin Moyu was not shy. "If you don't mind, Senior, you can pass the Star Lord's legacy to me, and I will find a suitable candidate for you. I will not disgrace your legacy. If I can't find anyone, or if I reach a dead end, I can still use it." The Falling Star Lord laughed and scolded, "You little rascal, you're treating my legacy as a backup." Lin Moyu spoke honestly, "Star Lord, you should sense that I am sincere." The Falling Star Lord looked at Lin Moyu without speaking. Lin Moyu's eyes were clear and bright, and everything he said was true. He genuinely intended to find a suitable successor for the Falling Star Lord. At the same time, he was also taking a gamble, betting that the Falling Star Lord would trust him. After all, this origin secret vault was about to collapse, and the Falling Star Lord's legacy would be completely lost to history. The 28 constellations of the origin continent would become 27. After a moment, the Falling Star Lord sighed, "It seems this is the only way." The Falling Star Lord clearly understood what would happen next in the secret vault, and after much consideration, he made his final decision. From his eyes, Lin Moyu could feel that he didn't want Lin Moyu to become his successor. But he also knew that it wouldn't benefit him, and he wouldn't agree. What he sought was the great Tao, not the position of Star Lord. In the past, Lin Moyu didn't understand what the position of Star Lord meant. He only knew that Star Lords were high and mighty, the pinnacle of the origin continent. Later, he obtained a lot of information, and after the human emperor organized it, he finally understood the true meaning of the position of Star Lord. Those who had reached the Great Tao 7th realm but saw no hope of further breakthrough ultimately became Star Lords. The weakest Star Lord is equivalent to a strong Great Tao 7th realm. And the Star Lords of the 28 constellations can rival the Great Tao 9th realm. Moreover, Star Lords have one advantage: although their combat power is equivalent to the Tao sovereign realm, they transcend the origin continent and are closer to the Great Tao. Influenced by the power of the Great Tao, the lifespan of Star Lords far exceeds that of ordinary Tao sovereigns. A top-tier Star Lord like the Falling Star Lord can easily live for 3 million years. In contrast, a Tao sovereign 9th realm's lifespan is far less unless they use special means like self-sealing. But that's just a temporary solution. The Falling Star Lord can maintain peak combat power throughout his 3 million year lifespan. A Tao sovereign, at the end of their time, would not dare to act lightly, as the more power they use, the more it affects their lifespan. Lifespan is the advantage of Star Lords, but Tao sovereigns have the Great Tao ahead of them, while Star Lords have no path forward, which is their disadvantage. Someone like Lin Moyu, who seeks the Great Tao, naturally does not want to become a Star Lord. The Falling Star Lord lightly tapped his finger, and the broken bow flew to Lin Moyu. "This is my Star Lord legacy treasure, the Falling Star Bow. But it is damaged. If you have the chance, you can repair it." Lin Moyu asked, "All right, how can it be repaired?" The Falling Star Lord said, "Use a treasure with the power of the sun's origin or the moon's origin to repair it." Lin Moyu thought for a moment and took out a piece of sunstone. "Can this be used?" The Falling Star Lord's eyes lit up. Sunstone, yes, just place them together, and the falling star bow will naturally absorb the sunstone and repair itself. I didn't expect you to have a sunstone truly, you are blessed. Without further ado, Lin Moyu placed them together, and the falling star bow emitted a gentle light, enveloping the sunstone. Lin Moyu could feel the sunstone softening, slowly melting, and merging into the falling star bow. The originally broken falling star bow began to slowly restore itself. The whole process was slow and would take some time. Lin Moyu watched for a while and sighed, it truly is magical. The falling Star Lord said, all Star Lord treasures come from the sun's origin and the moon's origin. The sunstone also comes from the sun's origin, so they can merge. My legacy is within the falling star bow. If you find a suitable candidate, please pass on the legacy for me. Lin Moyu nodded, rest assured, senior, I will diligently search. He thought of Zhang Ruizu from the Zhang family in Floating City. He had promised her that if he obtained the Falling Star Lord's legacy, he would make a copy for them and prioritize selling the Falling Star bow to them. He would keep his promise but also assess the Zhang family's situation to see if there was a suitable candidate for the legacy. If not, he wouldn't give it away lightly. It's not breaking a promise, as he didn't specify a time in his commitment. The Zhang family might not have a suitable candidate now, but that doesn't mean they won't in the future. He could wait, no rush. The promise to prioritize selling the falling star bow to them was made, but he had no intention of selling it now, so it wasn't breaking a promise. That's how it is. Lin Moyu always leaves himself a way out and rarely speaks definitively. Just like his promise to the falling star lord, all promises are genuine and will be fulfilled, but how they are fulfilled is up to him. After passing on the legacy to Lin Moyu, the falling star lord seemed relieved, as if his mission was complete. He looked around this world, finding nothing worth lingering for. He had long been dead, his remnant soul existing for who knows how many years, just to ensure the legacy wasn't lost. Lin Moyu said, Senior, can you tell me why you perished? The falling star lord chuckled, some things don't matter whether you know them or not. When this origin secret vault collapses, everything here will be completely destroyed. Lin Moyu shook his head, that's not entirely true. Perhaps for you, everything has ended, but not for me. I have a friend whose father is trapped here. Maybe he's dead, maybe he's alive. I promised my friend I would do everything I could to find her father, dead or alive. My personality is a bit stubborn. If I promise something, I will find a way to do it. Chapter 2842, 2842. Chapter 2842, if that's your path, I won't stop you. The latter half of Lin Moyu's words was actually meant for the falling star lord. He was telling the falling star lord that he would do everything possible to fulfill his promises to others, even if it meant facing danger, and he wouldn't easily back down. Hearing this, the falling star lord's eyes flickered with a faint light, and he sighed softly, very well then. This origin secret vault was constructed by me, the Cold 9-Star Lord, and the 2-Wind Star Lord, combining the power of our lifelong cultivation as Star Lords. Its purpose was to trap an enemy. Lin Moyu was suddenly shocked. The Cold 9-Star Lord and the 2-Wind Star Lord were both among the 28 constellations, top-tier Star Lords. Each of them was no weaker than a Dao Sovereign 9th Realm expert. What kind of enemy would require the combined efforts of all three to trap? Lin Moyu immediately thought of two possibilities, as the enemy at the Great Dao Realm. Or an extraterrestrial god. The falling star lord said, it seems you know quite a bit. In that case, it's easy to explain. It's not a Great Dao Realm expert. Such an existence couldn't be trapped even if the three of us risked our lives. Nor is it an extraterrestrial god. Extraterrestrial gods are no weaker than the Great Dao Realm and are also beyond our ability to handle. The three of us managed to trap only a pet of an extraterrestrial god, also known as a divine pet. And it was this divine pet that caused the three of us to fall here. The falling star lord spoke with a hint of bitterness. Lin Moyu was dumbfounded. He understood that the Great Dao Realm and extraterrestrial gods were strong. Back when the god-slaying sect was still called Two Family Village, they renamed it after slaying an extraterrestrial god. One can imagine how difficult it is to kill an extraterrestrial god, no less challenging than a Great Dao Realm expert. But he never expected that just a pet of an extraterrestrial god could cause the downfall of three top-tier Star Lords. The falling Star Lord continued, and what he said next shocked Lin Moyu even more. Lin Moyu even felt as if he had misheard. The falling Star Lord's bitterness deepened. The divine pet was severely injured in a previous battle and was healing. When we discovered it, its injuries hadn't fully recovered. Even so, the three of us paid a heavy price to trap and kill it. Lin Moyu was speechless. The cost was indeed heavy. 3 Star Lords fell. Just to kill a wounded pet of an extraterrestrial god. Lin Moyu was curious, what exactly are extraterrestrial gods? The falling Star Lord shook his head, we don't know their origins, or even what they look like. But their combat methods, spells, and so on are about 70 to 80% similar to ours. They have a distinct aura, and once you see it, you won't mistake it. We don't know where they come from. When an extraterrestrial god appeared, a great battle ensued. This divine pet was likely injured in that battle, later hiding to heal, and was eventually discovered by us. The falling Star Lord couldn't clearly explain the origins of extraterrestrial gods, only mentioning their unique aura, unmistakable once seen. Knowing he couldn't get more information, Lin Moyu asked about the Starwind Secret Vault. The Starwind Secret Vault was formed by the fusion of the 3 Star Lords' powers. The outer area was controlled by the Falling Star Lord and the 2 Wind Star Lord, while the Cold 9 Star Lord was responsible for the core area. Among the three, the Cold 9 Star Lord was the strongest, and together they injured the divine pet again, with the Cold 9 Star Lord ultimately sacrificing his life to trap it. Lin Moyu asked, 1,000 years ago, the secret vault was discovered on the Origin continent, and many people entered. Did the Star Lord know? The falling Star Lord seemed to recall and said after a moment, although that creature was trapped by us, it never gave up and kept resisting. At that time, its resistance was most intense, and the defenses we set up were nearly breached, revealing the secret vault to the world. Fortunately, it was ultimately contained, but the secret vault couldn't hide again, attracting many people. Because of that creature, a rift opened in the core area controlled by the Cold 9 Star Lord, allowing those people to enter the core area. But we should thank them, for their arrival weakened that creature's power significantly, giving us an opportunity. Lin Moyu asked curiously, what opportunity? The falling Star Lord smiled slightly, the opportunity to kill it. Lin Moyu was suddenly startled, realizing what the falling Star Lord meant by opportunity. Back then, the combined power of the three could only trap the divine pet, not truly kill it. Later, they thought of a way to destroy the entire secret vault, using the power generated by its collapse to kill it. It was the only method they could think of. Lin Moyu asked, couldn't you release them before killing that creature? The falling Star Lord shook his head slightly, it's not that we didn't want to, but we couldn't. To truly trap that creature, the Cold 9 Star Lord severed the connection between the inner and outer vaults. They can't get out, and we can't get in. Lin Moyu asked solemnly, are you sure they can't get out? The falling Star Lord nodded, they can't. If they could, that creature would surely find an opportunity. If it escaped, all our years of effort would be in vain. I know you want to save them, but you can't. Lin Moyu's eyes glowed slightly, so, are they all alive? The falling Star Lord said, some should be dead, but the rest are still alive. I can feel that creature's power weakening. Lin Moyu said, heaven never seals off all paths. I believe there's a way to save them. Please guide me, Senior. The falling Star Lord said, there's only one way, kill that creature. But it's unlikely to be killed. The three of us tried and failed. If you go in now, you'll just be another trapped person. It's better to leave immediately. You have a bright future, it's not worth it. Lin Moyu's eyes moved slightly, and he sighed, some things can't be measured by worth. Please tell me how to kill that creature, or at least severely injure it. I want to try. Lin Moyu knew the 3 Star Lords had fought it for so long and had injured it. They must know some information, and if he were to go, the more information he had, the better. Besides his promise to Lu Fengyao, Lin Moyu had a vague feeling. If he could kill the pet of the extraterrestrial god, it would benefit him. As for what benefits, he didn't know. But the purple light of luck and the dragon of luck roaring in his ears told him that killing it would be beneficial. The falling Star Lord asked, are you sure you want to go in? Lin Moyu nodded, I'm sure. If I fail, I'll have to disappoint your good intentions. The falling Star Lord waved his hand, no matter. I was already resigned. Finding a successor was just a luxury, it doesn't matter if it's gone. Since you've made your decision, that's your path, and I won't stop you. Chapter 2843, 2843. Chapter 2843, hope you succeed. The Falling Star Lord actually didn't know how to kill the divine pet. He recounted to Lin Moyu the battle with the divine pet from years ago. The 3 Star Lords gave it their all, and even then, they barely managed to injure the divine pet. To be precise, they didn't severely wound the divine pet, they exploited its already unhealed injuries. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to harm the divine pet at all. Soul attacks are ineffective, physical attacks are ineffective, and various spells are ineffective. All attacks could only repel the divine pet but couldn't truly harm it. However, the battle with us consumed a lot of its energy, causing its old wounds to flare up. If there's a way to kill it, it would be to drag it out until the divine pet's energy is exhausted. But we couldn't do it, the divine pet's recovery ability was too strong. If we dragged it out, we would be the ones exhausted to death first. Lin Moyu asked about the current state of the divine pet, but the Falling Star Lord said he didn't know. The cold 9-Star Lord had severed the connection between the inside and outside, and there had been no contact with the Falling Star Lord for thousands of years, so he didn't know the exact situation inside. He could only faintly sense that besides the cold 9-Star Lord and that creature, there were others in the central area. Those people were the ones who had entered before and were also trapped inside. The Falling Star Lord asked again, "Are you sure you want to go in?" Lin Moyu took a deep breath. "Yes, I want to go in. Please guide me, Star Lord." The Falling Star Lord sighed, "Since you insist." The Falling Star Lord suddenly waved his hand, and a large number of purple-black grasses flew up from the grassland, forming an arrow in midair. The arrow whistled away, disappearing into the night sky. Moments later, Lin Moyu felt a wind blowing from afar. This wind was strange, alternating between cold and hot. Lin Moyu immediately realized the Two-Wind Star Lord was coming. The Two-Wind Star Lord, known as the Yin-Yang Two Winds, used Yang Wind for battle and Yin Wind for healing. The Two-Wind Star Lord's combat power was also top tier, using wind to form the Tao, with a Tao wind that was incredibly sharp. The cold and hot, Yin and Yang, 2 completely different breezes converged in the air, forming a human figure. This figure twisted in the air, seemingly ready to disappear with the wind at any moment. Although it was just a remnant soul, with features indistinct, Lin Moyu recognized it as the divine pet of the Two-Wind Star Lord. After arriving, the Two-Wind Star Lord asked in a low voice, "Falling Star, why did you call me?" Falling Star said, "Two-Wind, I want to ask you to help send someone into the center of the secret vault." Two-Wind glanced at Lin Moyu, "A little guy at the heavenly sovereign realm, what's the use of sending him in, to be eaten?" Falling Star said, "Lin Xiaoyu is not an ordinary person. He comprehended the great Tao lock at the heavenly sovereign realm and also learned how to sever the lock." Two-Wind Star Lord showed surprise, "You comprehended the great Tao lock before reaching the Tao sovereign realm?" Lin Moyu said, "I was just lucky." Two-Wind Star Lord finally took a serious look at Lin Moyu, his gaze like the wind, penetrating everywhere. "Not bad, not bad, a high-level heavenly sovereign under 3,000 years old, a once-in-a-million years genius. To comprehend the mysteries of the great Tao at the high-level heavenly sovereign realm, your perception is also top-notch. But so what?" Two-Wind's tone shifted. "Falling Star, do you think he can deal with that creature?" Falling Star Lord shook his head, "I don't think so, but he insists on going in, and I can't stop him." Two-Wind looked at Lin Moyu, his tone slightly stern, "Do you know going in is like sending yourself to death? With your talent, you could likely surpass the Tao Sovereign in the future and step into the great Tao. Why rush to your death?" Lin Moyu knew the Two-Wind Star Lord was concerned for him and bowed, "Thank you for your kindness, Star Lord, but I have reasons I must go. Moreover, in my cultivation journey, I've faced life and death dangers many times and always survived. I believe this time will be no different." Two-Wind remained unmoved, "Unless you give me a reason, I won't let you go." Lin Moyu thought for a moment, "Falling Star told me earlier about the battle with that creature, and they couldn't harm the divine pet. I thought perhaps I found some reasons." Two-Wind Star Lord said, "Let's hear it." They had fought for so many years and hadn't found the divine pet's weakness. He didn't believe Lin Moyu could. Lin Moyu uttered 2 words, reality and illusion. The expressions of the Two-Wind Star Lord and the Falling Star Lord changed suddenly, and Lin Moyu's words made them think of a possibility. Falling Star Lord said, "You mean using the power of illusion to kill the divine pet?" Lin Moyu spoke honestly, "I'm not sure." Two-Wind Star Lord said, "Even if it requires the power of illusion, we don't understand it, and we don't have such treasures. Lin Moyu smiled, I might as well give it a try. He opened his palm, and an invisible force gathered, gradually forming a purple short sword in his hand. The sword of luck, condensed from luck, materialized from the void. What could be seen was only its exterior. Inside, it was still pure void power. The two Star Lords' eyes widened, and they spoke in unison, you actually mastered the great Tao of luck. Falling Star Lord immediately corrected, no, what you used before wasn't the great Tao of luck. Lin Moyu smiled, I have mastered multiple great Taos, and one of them happens to be the great Tao of luck. The two Star Lords looked at each other. Even for them, it was rare to see someone achieve the heavenly sovereign realm with the great Tao of the void. Normally, ordinary cultivators need to comprehend reality and illusion at the supreme realm. Comprehending reality and illusion means knowing the world has both real and illusory aspects. At this time, it opens a crack for cultivators, and those with the ability can pass through it to see the world of the great Tao of illusion. But most people can't see it. When reaching the heavenly sovereign realm, most people achieve it through the real heavenly Tao. There's no way around it. The great Tao of the void is not only invisible and intangible but also impossible to sense, let alone comprehend. Those who achieve the heavenly sovereign realm through the great Tao of the void are truly rare. At least the three Star Lords weren't capable of it. Falling Star Lord murmured, I think we should let Lin Xiaoyu try. What if it works? Two Wind Star Lord persisted, what if it doesn't? Falling Star Lord said, we have to try. Two Wind Star Lord shook his head, we can't afford to lose such a genius. The two argued, neither willing to yield. Lin Moyu could see that the Two Wind Star Lord was somewhat stubborn, even as a remnant soul. He said, Star Lord, I believe that the path of cultivation should be pursued with courage and diligence. If one is timid, it's hard to reach the peak. A true strong person is not made through cultivation but by standing up again and again from the blood of life and death and standing until the end. I have comprehended the great Tao of luck, and my luck is at its peak. I believe I can return safely. His words were firm and irrefutable. If he could return safely, then the divine pet would be the one to die. Two Wind hesitated for a long time and finally said with resignation, since you insist, then go. Hope you succeed. Chapter 2844, 2844. Chapter 2844, I open the way with wind, creating a clear sky. The Two Wind Star Lord finally agreed to open the path for Lin Moyu. Since the cold Nine Star Lord sealed the central area, entering it requires the combined efforts of the Falling Star Lord and the Two Wind Star Lord to open the passage. The Two Wind Star Lord waved his hand, wind, come. In an instant, a fierce wind howled, and two completely different winds blew from different directions. One cold, one hot, one yin, one yang. The two winds collided, forming a storm that shot straight into the sky. The Falling Star Lord drew a bow made of origin power. The bow was fully drawn, and an arrow appeared on it. The wind on the grassland didn't stop, and all the purple-black grass stood upright, pointing to the sky. I use this arrow to open the way for you. The opportunity is but a moment, seize it. Lin Moyu clasped his fists toward the Falling Star Lord, thank you, Senior. He knew that both the Two Wind Star Lord and the Falling Star Lord were only remnants of their souls, and using their power would consume them significantly. With gratitude in his heart, the wings of the undead spread. Soul power surged, infusing the wings of the undead. Whoosh! The arrow's light shone, piercing the sky. Lin Moyu followed closely, using all his strength to stay right behind the arrow. The Two Wind Star Lord shouted, wind, rise, I open the way with wind, creating a clear sky. The fierce wind in the sky tore through the night, revealing a clear blue sky. Lin Moyu felt a bone-chilling cold from afar, and even before approaching, he felt as if he would freeze. This was the domain of the cold Nine Star Lord, one of the 28 constellations, master of the great Tao of ice. 9 is the extreme number, signifying the cold Nine Star Lord's coldness reaching its limit, capable of freezing everything. The Falling Star Lord's arrow struck the blue sky, creating a rift. The rift wasn't large, just enough for one person to pass through. The moment the rift appeared, Lin Moyu rushed into the glacier. Half a second after he entered, the rift closed as if it had never been there. The fierce wind disappeared, and the clear sky was gone. The Two Wind Star Lord said softly, I hope he succeeds. The Falling Star Lord nodded slightly, I hope so. I really want to see that creature die. The Two Wind Star Lord laughed heartily, if it succeeds, I'll treat you to a meal. The falling Star Lord smiled. What will we eat? The two Wind Star Lords said, Northwest Wind. The cold 9 glacier stretched endlessly across the land. Everything here seemed frozen, the earth sealed in ice, the cold reaching the sky. Suddenly, the ground exploded, and Lin Moyu emerged from the glacier, shaking the wings of the undead. After he left the glacier, it quickly returned to normal, and looking back, there was no trace of the path he had taken. Lin Moyu entered the core area of the Starwind secret vault. It was a desolate place, with glaciers as far as the eye could see. Starwind secret vault, I think calling it the ice secret vault would be more fitting. A secret vault centered around ice, yet named Starwind, seems unfitting. Skeleton generals flew out, a full 10,000 of them, starting to search for the correct path. The falling Star Lord had told Lin Moyu that the central area managed by the cold 9 Star Lord was vast. How vast, he didn't know, just that it was very large. Lin Moyu didn't underestimate the glacier and directly used tens of thousands to explore the path. A map of the glacier quickly formed in his mind. Where there were mountains, where there were cliffs, everything was clear. Unlike the flat grassland, this place was filled with cliffs and precipices, very numerous. An hour later, the skeleton generals had flown far and finally reached the end of the glacier. Ahead lay endless ice mountains, and snowflakes began to fall from the sky. It's snowing. Connected to the skeleton general's vision, Lin Moyu saw snowflakes falling, but only in gray and white, very monotonous. In the undead's vision, the world lacked vitality, a feeling Lin Moyu was long accustomed to. But in this pure white world, he felt a similar sensation. The skeleton generals left the glacier and continued forward in the snow. Unknowingly, a layer of white covered the skeleton generals. They were originally as white as jade, and the snow covering them didn't enhance their appearance. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. Something's wrong with this snow. He noticed the skeleton general's speed was slowing, not just speed but movement, as if burdened with immense weight. This snow is heavy. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the skeleton generals rolled in the air, trying to shake off the snow. But the snowflakes clung tightly to the skeleton generals, refusing to fall no matter how they rolled. This made Lin Moyu realize the snow was indeed unusual. The skeleton generals burst with power, shaking off the snowflakes, but in the next second, they returned as if time had reversed, landing back on the skeleton generals. The moment the snowflakes were shaken off, the skeleton general's speed increased again. This confirmed to Lin Moyu that the problem was indeed with the snowflakes. The snowflakes increased weight and restricted speed. Lin Moyu signaled a few skeleton generals to return to the glacier, entering an area without snow. As soon as they entered the glacier, the snowflakes began to melt, disappearing in less than 2 minutes, and the skeleton generals regained their agility. Lin Moyu pondered, it seems the rules of the two areas are different. Let's see what happens. I don't know if this direction is correct. The skeleton generals flew in all directions, with only one direction leading out of the glacier, encountering heavy snow. In other directions, the skeleton generals continued to fly over the glacier, not yet reaching the edge. Lin Moyu wasn't in a hurry, waiting patiently. After half a day, the skeleton generals that flew into the snow could no longer fly. The snow had completely covered them, making them indistinguishable from the snowmen they had become. The skeleton generals stopped, standing motionless. Not because they didn't want to move, but because they couldn't. Each snowflake weighed 1,000 pounds, pressing them down completely. Then, the view was obscured by snowflakes, and in the icy world, a pile of skeleton snowmen appeared. This is the weight of the Great Tao of Ice. The Great Tao can be light or heavy, manifesting in various forms. The cold 9 Star Lord uses weightless snowflakes to demonstrate the weight of the Great Tao. It seems the cold 9 Star Lord's control over the Great Tao has reached the level of making the light heavy. Lin Moyu knew his keen perception and control over the Great Tao were delicate. But compared to the cold 9 Star Lord, he was far behind. Which was normal. He was only a heavenly sovereign, not even a Tao sovereign. The cold 9 Star Lord could rival the Tao sovereign 9th realm, a vast difference. Lin Moyu's heart moved, and the skeleton generals covered in snow collapsed and died. As soon as the skeleton generals died, the snowflakes lost their target and, with a gust of wind, flew up weightlessly, dancing in the air. The dead skeleton generals revived, like new, flying off to explore further, meeting new snowflakes. Using the power of the undying, Lin Moyu could ignore the snowflakes, exploring further. On the other side, more skeleton generals finally left the glacier. An ice river fell from the sky, transforming into waves rushing through the ice mountains and snowy peaks. Suddenly, a roar came from within the ice mountain, and the ice river exploded, sending a 10,000-meter water column into the sky, transforming into an ice dragon, roaring and circling as the glacier trembled and cracked. Chapter 2845, 2845. Chapter 2845, Disdain from the Great Tao. The seemingly eternal glacier cracked under the dragon's roar, with spiderweb-like fissures covering the vast land. The next second, the glacier returned to normal, as if the previous scene had never happened. The ice dragon circled, its dragon eyes scanning the land and mountains as if searching for something. Suddenly, it found its target. With a roar, the ice dragon charged forward like a meteor crashing to the ground, directly hitting its mark. Boom! The 10,000-meter glacier shattered, countless ice shards shooting in all directions, and several mountains crumbled in the impact. Lin Moyu, through the vision of the skeleton generals, witnessed this shocking scene from various angles. The ice dragon should be the transformation of the cold 9-star lord, and what it's attacking should be that divine pet. What exactly is this divine pet? The ice river exploded again, several ice dragons emerging from the river, crashing into the ice mountains. One after another, the ice mountains collapsed, as if a great battle was unfolding within. The ice dragons roared incessantly, the cold chill spreading across the world, growing ever colder. The ice river fully exploded, transforming into an ice dragon over 100,000 meters long. In an instant, the world was frozen, and the nearby skeleton generals were immobilized, covered in thick ice. The ice contained the power of the Great Tao, and the skeleton generals, frozen inside, were as good as dead. Lin Moyu could feel the skeleton generals moving toward death. Yet all of this was brought about by the massive ice dragon. The ice dragon joined the battle, and the remaining ice mountains collapsed. Suddenly, a light appeared in the undead vision, the glow of a soul flame. Lin Moyu's heart tightened. The pet of the extraterrestrial god had finally appeared. In the undead vision of the glacier world, there was no color, making the soul flame extremely conspicuous. The soul flame rapidly approached, enlarging in the undead vision. So strong, Lin Moyu was moved. The soul flame in the undead vision was extremely powerful. At the same time, Lin Moyu felt an intense sense of disgust. This feeling emanated from the depths of his soul, natural and uncontrollable. Lin Moyu finally understood why the falling Star Lord said that once seen, it couldn't be mistaken. Such an intensely repulsive aura couldn't be mistaken. Even without knowing it, the repulsion toward the divine pet could only mean one thing: it was despised by the Great Tao. Extraterrestrial gods are despised by the Great Tao, and this manifests in every living being as an innate sense of disgust, impossible to resist. The two sides are mortal enemies, with no possibility of reconciliation, not even a word exchanged. When they meet, the only thing to do is kill the divine pet, reducing it to dust. This is a rule set by the Great Tao, not to be violated. If you dare to defy this will, all the Great Taos you cultivate will abandon you, turning you into a cripple in an instant. What follows is death. Lin Moyu fully understood not only would it not be mistaken, but there was only one choice. I suppose it feels the same way when it sees us. Every living being on the origin continent is its enemy, without exception. What exactly are extraterrestrial gods? The soul flame enlarged rapidly in the undead vision, escaping the pursuit of the ice dragon and fleeing the frozen world. Its speed was incredibly fast, flashing through the glacier world. Lin Moyu stopped thinking and focused on tracking the divine pet. The divine pet's speed was too fast. The skeleton general's vision only caught a stream of light, impossible to discern. Go! Lin Moyu spread the wings of the undead, flying in the direction the divine pet fled. The divine pet's speed was so fast that it wouldn't take long to cross the glacier land. Lin Moyu needed to intercept it with all his might. Lin Moyu continuously urged the wings of the undead, pushing his speed to the limit. But the divine pet's speed kept increasing, still accelerating. No, at this rate, I can't intercept it. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and Zhao Dongsheng appeared beside him. An idea was transmitted simultaneously: take me there as fast as you can. The great Tao of all spirits appeared, and Zhao Dongsheng transformed into a slender, lizard-like spirit beast. The lightning lizard, a spirit beast with ordinary combat power but astonishing speed. Its speed was nearly 10 times that of spirit beasts of the same realm. Lin Moyu landed on the lightning lizard, which carried him forward, its speed several times faster than the wings of the undead, even faster than a Dao sovereign's sixth realm. The distance to the divine pet shortened, and the repulsive aura became more pronounced, causing Lin Moyu to frown. He didn't resist the soul-deep disgust, knowing it wasn't from his soul but the great Dao. Resisting the disgust would offend the great Dao, leading to abandonment. The disgust served as the best guide, allowing Lin Moyu to easily find the direction even from miles away. Gradually, the divine pet came into view. A light in the distance, flying close to the glacier. Lin Moyu adjusted his direction, closing the gap. It was enveloped in light, its true form obscured. Judging by the size of the light, Lin Moyu thought it wasn't very large. The divine pet also noticed Lin Moyu and suddenly changed direction, flying straight at him. Lin Moyu felt locked on, a wave of killing intent sweeping over him. It thinks I'm an easy target. While he detested the divine pet, the feeling was mutual. As a high-level heavenly sovereign, he was naturally seen as an easy target. Even a fool knows to pick the soft targets. 10,000 kilometers. 5,000 kilometers. The distance between them continued to close, 10,000 kilometers covered in the blink of an eye. Lin Moyu still couldn't clearly see the divine pet's form, but that didn't hinder his actions. A strand of the luck great Dao separated, following the divine pet's locking aura, completing the great Dao lock. The great sword Dao sovereign appeared before him, swinging its sword. The sword light followed the great Dao lock, and Lin Moyu simultaneously acted, the bone hell appearing, the eye of hell opening, sweeping with soul-cleansing power. Lin Moyu also pointed, origin level spell, time curse. Using multiple methods, Lin Moyu believed that even if he couldn't harm the divine pet, he could at least make it pause. The curse's light flickered, and the divine pet suddenly paused, its speed slowing. Then, a wave surrounded it, the bone hell enveloping it, the eye of hell passing over, slowing it further. Next, the great sword Dao sovereign's attack arrived, the sword light accurately striking it, slowing it again. Lin Moyu vaguely saw its form, but it was still unclear. Lava churned, and the fiends of hell lunged, opening their jaws to bite. Suddenly, a scream rang out, and the hellish fiend shattered like glass. The scream shook the soul, and Lin Moyu groaned, his soul world violently impacted, twisting and deforming. The soul world seemed to suffer a calamity, many stars at the edge shattering. Fortunately, those stars were barren, uninhabited. The world tree stretched, firmly supporting the soul world. Chapter 2846. 2846. Chapter 2846. You've actually met Ancestor Ji Kang. The world tree firmly stabilized the soul world, its branches stretching wildly, spreading to every corner of the soul world, including the former rule world, all covered by the world tree. The 10-colored dragon soul crystal opened its mouth, emitting dragon roars, weakening the external impact layer by layer. Together, they finally stabilized the soul world. The soul world was impacted, and Lin Moyu was momentarily lost. When he regained his senses, he found that the bone hell had already collapsed. Just a single scream shattered the bone hell. The divine pet's power was terrifyingly strong. His well-prepared series of attacks could only slow the divine pet slightly, completely unable to stop it. So strong, Lin Moyu was mentally prepared. He knew what kind of enemy he was facing. This was a terrifying existence that could cause the fall of 3 top-tier Star Lords and hold off many powerful beings. Even though it was severely injured, it was still incredibly formidable. A light appeared before him, and after breaking through the encirclement, it charged straight at Lin Moyu. The great sword Dao sovereign transformed into the true form of the great Dao, becoming a giant sword, blocking in front of Lin Moyu. With a bang, the great sword Dao sovereign was knocked away, and the divine pet charged like lightning. In the clash, the great sword Dao sovereign was slightly inferior. However, it wasn't injured and charged at Lin Moyu again. Lin Moyu realized that the divine pet wasn't lacking in intelligence. It knew that he was the leader and aimed to kill him first. Zhao Dongsheng continued to retreat rapidly, trying to widen the distance. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and Zhao Dongsheng took Lin Moyu with him, retreating swiftly. Although his speed was not as fast as the divine pet, he could still buy some time. The luck great Dao gathered, quickly forming a small flying sword in Lin Moyu's hand. The condensed flying sword was very small, not even as big as a palm, more like a flying needle than a sword. Time is short, this will have to do. The flying sword flashed silently, flying out and piercing the divine pet's body along the great Dao lock. The divine pet let out a scream, with a hint of fear in its voice, and suddenly turned, flying into the distance. It worked. Lin Moyu gathered the power of the luck great Tao again. This time was even shorter, and the luck sword he condensed was even smaller, no bigger than a needle, and weaker. Then the luck sword vibrated slightly, turning pitch black as ink. The luck sword became the luck poison sword, capable of corroding luck. Lin Moyu didn't care whether it worked or not. He shot the sword while the great Tao lock was still active. The luck poison sword flickered and disappeared, appearing on the divine pet in the next instant. Another scream filled with terror, and the divine pet fled even faster. Lin Moyu saw the divine pet's luck tainted with a layer of black. Its luck was poisoned. "You're going to have a lot of bad luck," Lin Moyu said softly, suddenly frowning. Why does that sound familiar? After thinking for a moment, he realized it was something Xiao Wu had said, and he had unconsciously picked it up. Watching the direction the divine pet fled, Lin Moyu didn't pursue it. There was no rush to hunt down the divine pet. Now he knew how to deal with it. Moreover, given the divine pet's speed, it would be difficult for him to kill it alone. He needed to rely on others' strength. The skeleton generals in the snow, through repeated death and rebirth, had traveled far. Finally, they saw some different scenery. Beyond the snowy world, a lake appeared in view. Due to the skeleton general's vision, which was only in shades of gray and white, they couldn't discern the lake's color. However, in the undead vision, Lin Moyu could see soul flames flickering in the world beyond the lake, and there was more than one. Found them. Lin Moyu was delighted. He had finally found the people who had come here. He gradually began to understand the role of the snowflakes, which contained the power of the great Tao, were very heavy, and could accumulate infinitely, making them unavoidable. No matter how fast the divine pet was, it couldn't avoid being touched by the snowflakes. Once there were enough, the divine pet's speed would inevitably decrease significantly. Speed was the divine pet's advantage, and the snowflakes were meant to limit this advantage. So it made sense for those people to hide beyond the snowy world. Without the snowflakes, obstruction, the divine pet could easily attack or retreat at will. It seems that after holding on for so long, the cold 9-star Lord has found a way to deal with it. This method is simple and crude, yet very effective. Lin Moyu withdrew Zhao Dongsheng and the great sword Tao Sovereign, crossing the glacier alone into the world of snowflakes. The snowflakes fell densely, filling the air. The bone hell had recovered, and Lin Moyu unfolded it to see if the hellfire could melt the snowflakes. The hellish fiends could indeed devour the snowflakes, but the process was very slow. Each fiend took a long time to digest a single snowflake. The snowflakes contained the power of the cold 9-star Lord, very high level, beyond the bone hell's limits. The bone hell lasted only a minute before collapsing under the snowflakes. Wait. Lin Moyu put away the bone hell, not disappointed. If the snowflakes were so easy to deal with, the divine pet would have charged through long ago. He released a large number of skeleton generals, weaving them into a net around him, using them as an umbrella to shield himself from the snow. Once a batch was overwhelmed, he replaced them. There was no shortage of numbers. Using this simple method, Lin Moyu passed through the cold 9-star Lord's snowy world without issue. A lake appeared in view, clear and green, full of life. By the lake, there were clusters of grass, bringing a touch of vitality to the icy world. The cold, dead world of ice and snow was separated from the lively lake by a thin line, forming a unique scene. Lin Moyu didn't cross the lake. He walked along its edge to the other side. The lake wasn't particularly large, surrounded by the icy world, like a patch of green in the white, beautiful and mysterious. Gradually, Lin Moyu saw houses and sensed the presence within them. They were human cultivators. His senses couldn't be wrong, numbering about 3,000. Lin Moyu released his aura, like a greeting, signaling his arrival. Sure enough, an aura rose in response, as if greeting Lin Moyu. Then, a person flew through the air, landing in front of Lin Moyu. He moved quickly, his aura strong and obscure. Lin Moyu knew the person's realm, at least Tao Sovereign's 7th realm. The Tao Sovereign's 7th realm and the Tao Sovereign's 6th realm were fundamentally different. Especially in terms of soul level, it was a step up, easily distinguishable. Lin Moyu first saluted. Junior Lin Moyu greets Senior. The other person looked at Lin Moyu, high-level Heavenly Sovereign. How did you get here? Lin Moyu smiled slightly. The Falling Star Lord and the 2 Wind Star Lord sent me in. May I know your name, Senior? The other said, I am Ji Yu Luoxuan. Lin Moyu's eyes lit up, are you from the Cold Water Holy Land, Senior? Ji Luoxuan nodded. That's right, do you know someone from the Cold Water Holy Land? Lin Moyu said, I met Ancestor Ji Kang not long ago. You've actually met Ancestor Ji Kang. Ji Luoxuan was immediately surprised. Chapter 2847, 2847. Chapter 2847, hasn't the cold 9-star Lord already fallen? To prove his words, Lin Moyu took out the token given by Ancestor Ji Kang. Seeing it, Ji Luoxuan's expression immediately became serious. It really is Ancestor Ji Kang's token. For you to have obtained it, you must be extraordinary. Because of the token, Ji Luoxuan's address for Lin Moyu changed to little friend, and his demeanor shifted to one of equal standing. Lin Moyu asked, may I ask if among the survivors, there is someone named Lu Shudao? Of the more than 100 who entered, only 30 or so remain, and the rest have undoubtedly perished. With so many fallen, Lin Moyu wasn't sure if Lu Shudao was still alive. Ji Luoxuan immediately replied, Lu Daoyu is still alive. Although he was injured initially, his life is not in danger, but his cultivation has suffered some damage. Lin Moyu asked curiously, is his foundation damaged? Ji Luoxuan nodded, indeed, his foundation is damaged. Is Lin Xiaoyu here to find Lu Daoyu? Lin Moyu didn't hide it, that's one of the purposes. I was entrusted by the third ancestor to bring Senior Lu back. He spoke frankly, not expecting to gain everyone's favor. He was there for Lu Shudao, and others were secondary. Mentioning the third ancestor's name, Ji Luoxuan was even more surprised. I didn't expect even the third ancestor would entrust you. Lin Moyu said, please, Senior Ji, lead the way. I wish to see Senior Lu. Ji Luoxuan quickly gestured, please, Lin Xiaoyu. Ji Luoxuan led Lin Moyu to the houses, and as they approached, Ji Luoxuan took out a jade token. The jade token glowed, illuminating the void, and the scenery before them changed. Like a curtain being pulled back, the true scene was revealed. There were more houses than initially seen, numbering 7 or 8,000. Each house looked the same, and they were built from origin crystals. Lin Moyu sensed the power of formations from the houses. Each house contained a formation. Lin Moyu glanced and shook his head slightly, it's not a formation, it's a formation eye. Constructing houses with origin crystals, built on formation nodes, allows cultivators within to control the formation, greatly enhancing its power. This formation must have reached the 8th level. Ji Luoxuan showed surprise in his eyes, I didn't expect Lin Xiaoyu to be so proficient in formations. Lin Moyu humbly said, I only have some knowledge, not proficiency. Ji Luoxuan didn't believe Lin Moyu's modesty. Being able to see through the formation's mysteries at a glance couldn't be mere dabbling. The formation they set up back then required considerable effort, led by an 8th-level formation master and completed by dozens of people working together. The formation indeed reached the 8th level, and Lin Moyu saw through it at a glance. As they entered the formation, dozens of seniors with varied appearances and deep auras were already waiting there. Their eyes showed curiosity. Lin Moyu was the first person in thousands of years to come here. Seeing Lin Moyu, they were all surprised. Why is it a young heavenly sovereign? The young one is indeed youthful, not even 3,000 years old, yet already a high-level heavenly sovereign. It seems he might achieve Dao sovereign before 5,000. Not even 3,000, he's only in his 2000s. I think he'll achieve Dao sovereign before 3,000. Such a heavenly pride is rare in a million years, but why is he here? Didn't the cold 9-star Lord say the inside and outside were isolated? How did he get in? Why wonder so much? Just ask. Ji Luoxuan brought Lin Moyu over, and before they could ask, he introduced, this is Lin Xiaoyu. His address of Lin as, little friend, surprised everyone. On the origin continent, titles aren't casually used. Calling him, little friend, meant Ji Luoxuan saw Lin Moyu as an equal. It also told others that Lin Moyu was qualified to be their peer. Lin Moyu saluted them, Junior Lin Moyu greets the seniors. Because of Ji Luoxuan's address, everyone was polite. How did Lin Xiaoyu get here? Lin Moyu said, the Falling Star Lord and the 2 Wind Star Lord sent me. As he spoke, his eyes scanned the crowd and landed on someone. This person bore some resemblance to Lu Fengyao and the third ancestor. He was clearly injured, his aura unstable, likely Lu Shudao. Lin Moyu immediately addressed him, may I ask, are you Lu Shudao, Senior Lu? Lu Shudao nodded. Yes, that's me. Lin Moyu said, I was entrusted by the third ancestor and Sister Fengyao to come here and bring you back. Lu Shudao was shocked. You've met the third ancestor and Fengyao. How are they? Lin Moyu smiled. The third ancestor is as always, and Miss Fengyao recently achieved Dao Sovereign, ranking 10th in the Heavenly Pride Conference. Hearing that Lu Fengyao became a Dao Sovereign, Lu Shudao showed a relieved and gratified expression, as long as Fengyao is safe. As a father, as long as Lu Fengyao was safe, he was at ease. Lin Moyu looked at Lu Shudao, whose injuries seemed more severe than described by Jiyu Luoxuan, not as lightly as portrayed. His foundation was damaged, his realm unstable, threatening to fall at any moment. Such injuries were life-threatening for a cultivator. Lin Moyu asked solemnly, Senior Lu seems to be severely injured. Lu Shudao waved it off, my life is not in danger. At this moment, someone nearby said, Lu Daoyu had a chance to heal, but he gave his only longevity pill to the cold 9-star lord, leaving himself with difficult-to-heal injuries. Lu Shudao quickly said, don't say that. Giving the longevity pill to the cold 9-star lord was much more useful than taking it myself. If not for the Star Lord's protection, we might have died long ago. Lin Moyu asked curiously, hasn't the cold 9-star lord already fallen? Lu Shudao replied, indeed, he has fallen, but the longevity pill allowed him a semblance of life after death. He explained, and Lin Moyu finally understood. Though the cold 9-star lord was dead, his body remained, encased in ice. With only a remnant soul, the cold 9-star lord struggled to hold off the divine pet, otherwise, they wouldn't have been breached back then. Later, Lu Shudao gave his only longevity pill to the cold 9-star lord, and under its influence, his body and soul partially recovered. Though not resurrected, he could maintain peak combat power for a long time. This time was enough for them to destroy the secret vault, taking the divine pet with them. The 3-star lords concentrated their power to create the secret vault, trapping the divine pet. The cold 9-star lord continued to pursue the divine pet, unable to kill it but preventing its recovery. Apart from the old injuries from the great battle long ago, they couldn't harm the divine pet, only suppress it and trigger old wounds. They, along with the cold 9-star lord, seized opportunities to try to suppress the divine pet. Unfortunately, they never succeeded, and those who entered before died one by one. Lu Shudao was injured by the divine pet in one of these battles, damaging his foundation. At this point, Lin Moyu took out a jade bottle and handed it to Lu Shudao, Senior Lu, this is for you. Chapter 2848, 2848. Chapter 2848, absolutely unprecedented. Lu Shudao opened the jade bottle with suspicion, and a strong vitality surged out. Lu Shudao shivered, the longevity pill. Lin Moyu said, yes, Senior Lu, please take it and quickly repair your foundation. Lu Shudao seemed hesitant and did not immediately take it. The people around said, Lu Daoyu, what are you waiting for to take it? Exactly, you've delayed long enough, you shouldn't delay any longer. This is fate. Lu Daoyu gave his longevity pill to the cold 9-star lord, and now someone has brought another longevity pill. Their words were filled with envy. They all knew the value and effect of the longevity pill, equivalent to a life. Even someone like the cold 9-star lord, who was already dead, could live another 10,000 years with the longevity pill. Lin Moyu asked, is there something else you're worried about, Senior Lu? Lu Shudao whispered, I was thinking, if I give this longevity pill to the cold 9-star lord, could it help him recover a bit more? If I take it, Lin Moyu understood Lu Shudao's concern and couldn't help but laugh, there's no need. Even if the cold 9-star lord recovers to his peak, he can only hold off the divine pet, which doesn't change the current situation. In the end, it would only delay until the secret vault collapses, and they perish together with the divine pet. I came here with the third ancestor and Sister Fengyao's instructions to bring you back, Senior Lu, and to uncover the true situation of this secret vault. Now that we know the situation, it's just that divine pet. We just need to find a way to kill it. Lin Moyu spoke lightly, but his words made everyone frown. They were a group of Dao Sovereign 7th Realm experts, along with the cold 9-star lord, and they couldn't do anything about the divine pet. How could a mere heavenly sovereign speak such arrogant words? However, because of Lu Shudao and Jiyu Luoxuan, they didn't say it directly. But their perception of Lin Moyu had changed. Jiyu Luoxuan asked, Lin Xiaoyu, did you bring some powerful treasure with you? Hearing this, everyone suddenly understood. If Lin Moyu brought a powerful treasure, perhaps there was indeed a chance. Lin Moyu shook his head. I didn't bring any powerful treasures. On the way here, I encountered the divine pet, and I have already injured it. If my judgment is correct, I should be able to kill it. No powerful treasure. Encountered it halfway and injured it. Relying on his own strength. No one would believe this if it were said out loud. The doubts that had just subsided surged again. However, as Dao Sovereign's 7th realm experts, they maintained their composure. Their eyes showed that they didn't believe Lin Moyu's words. At this moment, the lake suddenly boiled, water columns rose, and snowflakes danced in the center of the lake, naturally forming an ice figure. The ice figure emitted a powerful aura, cold air rushing forth, and Lin Moyu immediately knew that this ice figure was the cold 9-star lord. The crowd greeted the cold 9-star lord. Having been together for nearly 10,000 years, they were obviously familiar and didn't need much formality. The cold 9-star lord looked at Lin Moyu. Was it you who injured the divine pet? Lin Moyu nodded. Yes, Star Lord, it was I who injured the divine pet. Wow, everyone's eyes widened. Lin Moyu was telling the truth. He actually injured the divine pet, something none of them could do, yet a heavenly sovereign did it. The cold 9-star lord asked, can you tell us how you did it? Lin Moyu said, it's simple, using the power of luck. Ji Yu Luoxuan's eyes lit up, so it was the power of luck. How did we old folks not think of that all these years? Lu Shudao smiled wryly. It seems we all got stuck in a rut, living so long yet forgetting the existence of both reality and luck. Ji Yu Luoxuan sighed, that's our limitation. We've been immersed in our own great Tao for too long, forgetting about others. The people here weren't fools. Once Lin Moyu mentioned it, they realized it was indeed possible. They always thought they were too weak, not strong enough, never considering that they might have been using the wrong method. They truly went down the wrong path and stayed there. The cold 9-star lord asked, did you use some treasure of luck power? Lin Moyu shook his head. I have comprehended a great Tao of luck and don't need to rely on a treasure of luck power. Their eyes widened in shock once more. My goodness, a heavenly sovereign achieved through the great Tao of luck. The great Tao of luck is incredibly difficult. Achieving heavenly sovereign at just over 2,000 years old through the great Tao of luck is absolutely unprecedented. Perhaps not in ancient times, but at least in the current origin continent, such a genius has never been heard of. It seems we have hope now. The Tao sovereigns present were all very pleased. They realized they had hope, that they wouldn't perish with the secret vault. If they could live, who would want to die? Lin Moyu looked at Lu Shudao. Senior Lu, you can take the longevity pill now. This time, Lu Shudao didn't refuse and took the longevity pill. The longevity pill immediately took effect, enveloping Lu Shudao in a gentle light, similar to divine light. Lin Moyu could feel Lu Shudao's damaged foundation gradually recovering, his aura stabilizing. The longevity pill's effect wasn't immediate, it would last a long time. Even after Lu Shudao's injuries completely healed, the longevity pill would extend his lifespan. This pill wasn't just a healing elixir, it was also a longevity elixir. Currently, it seems even more miraculous than my power of life. But in the future, it's hard to say. Lin Moyu had confidence in his undying great Tao, believing that the future effects of his power of life would not be weaker than the longevity pill. Congratulations, Lu Daoyu, on restoring your great Tao and having a bright future. Lu Daoyu's fortune is deep, surely there will be future blessings. Once the divine pet is destroyed and we leave this place, Lu Daoyu will surely soar to the heavens, straight to the heavenly Tao. Everyone congratulated Lu Shudao, who was also very happy. Lu Shudao sincerely thank you, Lin Xiaoyu, for your help. When I get out, I will surely repay you. Lin Moyu joked, no need for anything else, just another longevity pill will do. Lu Shudao immediately said, of course, one is not enough. Lin Moyu raised an eyebrow, one is enough if there are more, the third ancestor will be angry. Lu Shudao laughed heartily, don't worry, I'll handle the third ancestor. After a round of congratulations, Lin Moyu looked at the cold 9-star lord. Star Lord, can we now discuss how to kill the divine pet? The cold 9-star lord said, previously, we struggled to harm the divine pet. Now that Xiaoyu has found a way, there's just one problem left, how to catch it. The cold 9-star lord had already identified the core issue. Besides being able to harm it, they needed to restrain it. After all, Lin Moyu's realm was still too low unless the divine pet stood still for him to kill, it couldn't be killed. The divine pet was too fast. If it avoided Lin Moyu, it would be hard to kill. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and said, if we can restrain it for 5 minutes, I'm confident I can kill it. By myself, I can't restrain it, but I have a way. If everyone believes in me, perhaps we can hold it. Chapter 2849, 2849. Chapter 2849, Found It, Follow Me. Lu Shudao was the first to express complete trust in Lin Moyu. After his expression, the others also expressed their willingness to trust Lin Moyu. The cold 9-star lord said, I naturally trust you, but you need to tell us the specific method. Lin Moyu said, the method is simple. Just follow my command when the time comes, as the battle situation is ever-changing and requires real-time response. I will create a formation, and through this formation, my thoughts can be transmitted to you immediately, which is faster than verbal commands. I will assign numbers to each of you, including the cold 9-star lord, making a total of 32 people. I will refer to you as numbers 1 to 32. Lin Moyu didn't disclose too many details of the plan, and everyone understood that things indeed needed to be adaptable. Lin Moyu positioned himself as the commander and them as subordinates. But as long as they could kill the divine pet, no one had any objections. Being subordinates was no big deal. After some thought, Lu Shudao was the first to express, I am willing to follow Lin Xiaoyu's command. With him taking the lead, the others also expressed their willingness to follow Lin Moyu's arrangement. Over the millennia, they had come to understand Lu Shudao's character and were willing to give him face. The cold 9-star lord also expressed no problem with temporarily following Lin Moyu's command. Lin Moyu said, there is one thing to say up front. Although there is confidence in besieging the divine pet, unexpected events may occur, and danger is inevitable. All of you must follow my command completely, without any mistakes. The divine pet is injured now, and its combat power is not much stronger than yours. It cannot kill you in a short time. Lin Moyu talked about some of his plans. Killing the divine pet is not easy and requires careful planning. If even one of the Dao Sovereign's 7th realm experts disobeys, it could lead to the failure of the entire plan. Everyone expressed their absolute obedience to Lin Moyu's orders. Trapped in the secret vault for nearly 10,000 years, watching their former companions die one by one, they thought they would perish with the vault. Now, with hope, they naturally wouldn't let it go. After explaining the requirements, Lin Moyu asked the cold 9-star lord about the changes in the divine pet over the past 1,000 years. From the repeated battles with the divine pet, he analyzed its behavior patterns to further refine his plan. Back then, when the 3-star lords besieged the divine pet, its combat power was above the Dao Sovereign 9th realm. Even with all their might, the 3-star lords were not the divine pet's match, only managing to fight it to a standstill, all suffering severe injuries. Their attacks were ineffective against the divine pet, but in the repeated battles and clashes, the divine pet's injuries flared up, greatly reducing its combat power. The 3-star lords seized the opportunity, sacrificing their lives to concentrate all their power to create the secret vault, trapping the divine pet and continuously depleting its power. Using the secret vault, the 3-star lords trapped the divine pet for many years. Later, the divine pet had an outburst, tearing a rift in the vault, attempting to escape. The cold 9-star lord fought with all his might to prevent the divine pet from escaping. If the divine pet escaped, all their efforts would be in vain. At that time, the secret vault was revealed to the world and discovered by several old ancestors of the origin continent. Sensing the powerful aura leaking from the vault, they thought there were treasures inside and organized people to enter and search for them. In the end, they found no treasure but instead trapped Lu Shudao and others inside. The first few batches of over 100 people suffered heavy casualties. But they didn't die in vain. Their battles with the divine pet further weakened its power. Now, the divine pet's power is slightly above the Dao Sovereign 7th realm, actually weaker than the cold 9-star lord. It was only because the cold 9-star lord couldn't find a way to deal with the divine pet that the stalemate continued. Through the conversation, Lin Moyu understood the whole story. He also analyzed the divine pet's behavior pattern. It was indeed a pet, with some intelligence but not much. It didn't use any tactics, mostly acting on instinct. Over the years, it had been chased by the cold 9-star lord, repeatedly escaping with its incredible speed. It wasn't afraid of the cold 9-star lord's attacks, knowing that if the cold 9-star lord prepared well, it could be trapped. So it had to escape, and in the process, it was always looking for an opportunity to recover. If it could recover to its peak, it could counter-kill the cold 9-star lord. The cold 9-star lord asked, "How confident are you?" Everyone present awaited Lin Moyu's answer. Lin Moyu thought for a moment, "If nothing unexpected happens, I am 90% confident." Everyone's eyes lit up. 90% was almost a certainty. The cold 9-star lord said, "What if something unexpected happens?" Lin Moyu said, "If something unexpected happens, we'll surround it again. As long as you follow my lead, you shouldn't be in danger." The cold 9-star lord nodded slightly, "Then let's do it. I'll go find it first, and you prepare the formation." The cold 9-star lord's figure turned into green water, re-entering the lake. Lin Moyu took out 33 origin crystals and used himself as the formation eye to set up the formation. The formation was simple, not complex, and was completed in no time. This formation, in terms of level, was only a second-level formation. The formation doesn't need to be the highest level. Practicality is most important. Then Lin Moyu began to inscribe runes, combining device formation and talisman formation, even though it was just a second-level formation. The origin crystals used were the most ordinary third-level origin crystals. Lin Moyu integrated runes into the formation, and the origin crystals serving as nodes gradually transformed, becoming tokens. Until all 33 tokens were refined, Lin Moyu waved his hand, distributing 32 tokens to the others. These 33 tokens were identical except for the numbering. He kept the 0-numbered token for himself and prepared the 1-numbered token for the cold 9-star lord. The others were numbered from 2 to 32. They refined the tokens, and in this battle, they had no names, only numbers. Testing showed that Lin Moyu's thoughts could be transmitted directly to their minds through the tokens. This was faster than verbal commands. Dealing with the divine pet required every second, even a difference of 0.01 seconds could mean the difference between success and failure. Through the earlier conversation, Lin Moyu already knew each Dao sovereign's great Dao, strength, specialties, and powerful treasures, all clear in his mind. Everything was ready, just waiting for the cold 9-star lord to find the divine pet's whereabouts. It was clear that everyone was a bit excited and nervous. The divine pet was too strong, and even though they were old monsters, they were still nervous. Only Lin Moyu remained unmoved, waiting quietly. Half a day later, the lake water surged, and the cold 9-star lord's figure appeared. "Found it, follow me." Chapter 2850, 2850. Chapter 2850, Simulating the Future, a Trap. The wind and snow howled, and snowflakes danced in the air. Amidst the swirling snow, a passage appeared where no snowflakes fell. Everyone advanced rapidly along the passage. Although the rules within the secret vault were set by the Star Lords, once established, even the cold 9-star lord couldn't easily change them. He couldn't remove the snowflakes immediately. It required time. He could only alter the structure of the snowflakes to form a passage. Soon, everyone passed through the snowy world and entered the glacier. Cracks appeared on the glacier, guiding the way for everyone. Lin Moyu discerned the direction, realizing it was no longer the direction the divine pet had fled. The divine pet was intelligent and had changed its escape route. However, this was the cold 9-star lord's domain. No matter how well it hid, it would eventually be found. Following the cracks on the glacier, everyone arrived at another area. Here lay a vast ocean with countless white ice islands. The ice islands floated in the ocean, drifting slowly and aimlessly. Some ice islands would collide and then separate, repeating the cycle. This area was originally a glacier, shattered and melted into an ocean. A powerful force prevented the ocean from refreezing. Lin Moyu frowned slightly, as this where the battle with the divine pet took place. The cold 9-star lord said, "Yes, a great battle erupted here before. Even after tens of thousands of years, the divine pet's power still lingers." The presence of the divine pet's power was undeniable, felt by all. This repulsive power was entirely different from the origin continent, despised by the great Tao. Lin Moyu said, "Perhaps it thinks the most dangerous place is the safest. Though intelligent, not very much so. Everyone, please prepare. We'll proceed according to plan." The cold 9-star lord nodded, "Then I'll begin." Lin Moyu said, "Thank you, Star Lord." Everyone spread out, each person several meters apart, scattered in various locations. The cold 9-star Lord waved his hand, and in an instant, countless cold currents formed into white mist, drifting from all directions, enveloping the ocean. Cold star descends. With a soft command, countless cold starlights flew from the mist, falling into the ocean. In an instant, the ocean boiled, stirring cold currents. The starlight struck the ice islands, causing them to rumble and explode with tremendous force. These ice islands were formed from the cold 9-star Lord's power, now turned into explosive barrels, with the starlight as the fuse. The ocean was thrown into chaos, water columns shot skyward, merging into the mist, turning into more starlight raining down. Starlight fell like rain, densely packed, continuously impacting the entire ocean. Finally, amidst the cold 9-star Lord's carpet bombing, a faint light appeared. Simultaneously, everyone frowned, the faint light evoking intense disgust. Though the lingering power here was also repulsive, it was far less so than now. Lin Moyu's eyes narrowed. The divine pet's luck poison had weakened significantly. In a while, the luck poison would dissipate. Lin Moyu realized that the difference in realm and power between him and the divine pet greatly reduced the effectiveness of the luck poison. It's here, everyone prepare and follow my command. Everyone heard Lin Moyu's voice in their minds. As previously stated, they didn't need to respond or ask why, just execute Lin Moyu's orders. Mist appeared in Lin Moyu's eyes, luck sublimated, and invisible purple energy soared. Lin Moyu became ethereal, enveloped in an indescribable void power. The luck great Tao rose, Lin Moyu burned luck, and the luck simulation talisman constantly danced, simulating future events. The divine pet was strong, simulating its actions consumed a lot of luck. Number 5, advance 100 meters to the left, block the divine pet. Number 5 received Lin Moyu's command without hesitation, quickly advancing 100 meters to the left, unleashing all his power. Just as he reached the position, the divine pet suddenly burst with power, fleeing in a direction. That direction was precisely where number 5 was. Boom! With a loud noise, number 5 was pushed back several meters, and the divine pet was also pushed back. In terms of power, the divine pet was slightly stronger, but not by much. Number 5 was a Tao sovereign 7th realm, holding his ground wouldn't be a problem. Number 18, 40 meters to the right, block it. Number 18's Tao sovereign immediately moved 40 meters to the right, unleashing all his power. As he reached the spot, a flash of light appeared, and the divine pet was there. Without thinking, he swung his sword, colliding with the divine pet. Boom! He was pushed back several meters, and the divine pet was also repelled. The divine pet changed direction again, moving in another direction. But another Tao sovereign appeared on its escape path, blocking it again. Number 6, come here. Number 28, 72 meters to the left. Number 19, 31 meters to the right rear. Lin Moyu's commands were issued one after another, growing faster, and all the commanded Tao sovereigns appeared at the required positions immediately. They repeatedly blocked the divine pet's path, leaving it nowhere to escape. No matter which direction the divine pet chose, someone would block it. Moreover, Lin Moyu's command speed kept increasing, gradually shrinking the divine pet's range of movement. The divine pet was gradually surrounded, with people on all sides, above and below. Lin Moyu continuously simulated the divine pet's every move, ordering the Tao sovereigns to intercept in advance. Forming a net, leaving the divine pet with no escape. The Tao sovereigns, like puppets, followed Lin Moyu's orders, blocking everywhere. They no longer questioned how Lin Moyu did it, they just followed orders, no need to ask why. The divine pet's range of movement shrank, the encirclement forming, the divine pet becoming a stream of light, crashing around the encirclement. The Tao sovereigns gritted their teeth, enduring the collisions, not having an easy time. But in this situation, they could only grit their teeth and hold on. The encirclement grew smaller until it was less than 100 meters, and the cold 9-star Lord finally received Lin Moyu's command. Number 1, act, freeze it. The cold 9-star Lord had been ready for a long time. He hadn't been involved in blocking the divine pet's escape. His task wasn't to stop the divine pet from escaping but to freeze it. The smaller the range, the stronger the freezing effect, so Lin Moyu kept shrinking the encirclement until it was only 100 meters before letting the cold 9-star Lord act. The cold 9-star Lord pointed one hand to the sky, the other to the ground, drawing a circle. Eternal freeze. A terrifying cold emerged from the encirclement, the divine pet screamed, crashing more violently. The scream impacted the soul world, but fortunately, the Tao sovereigns, soul worlds were strong enough to withstand it. With them blocking in front, Lin Moyu didn't bear much pressure. At this moment, everyone received Lin Moyu's command. Hold on a little longer. All the Tao sovereigns gave their all, holding on with all their might. The white cold air froze the space, the eternal freeze finally reaching the divine pet. The divine pet's speed rapidly decreased, slowing down, and finally stopping. Chapter 2851, 2851. Chapter 2851, The last thing I'm afraid of is soul possession. The cold 9-star Lord's most powerful spell, Eternal Freeze. The absolute power of the Great Tao of Ice, freezing everything, including spells and the Great Tao. Even the light surrounding the divine pet was frozen, rendering it immobile and finally revealing its true form. Lin Moyu looked astonished. The divine pet was actually a cat, entirely snow white. But upon closer inspection, it wasn't a cat, just resembled one. Its appearance was somewhat peculiar, with thin, pointed ears, and beneath its white fur, faint bloodlines flowed like streams under its fur. Its tail wasn't like a cat's tail under the fur, there were scales. Its forehead also had scales. On the scales of its forehead, there was an organ resembling a vertical eye. It had 18 sharp fangs. Its 4 claws were extremely sharp, comparable to any Tao sovereign realm treasure. It exuded an aura of repulsion from its very bones. Although sealed by eternal freeze, it was clearly struggling desperately. The cold 9-star Lord continuously increased his power. I can only seal it for a few minutes. Lin Moyu nodded. Everyone, maintain the encirclement. Be cautious. Then Lin Moyu condensed the Sword of Luck. This time, he had enough time to condense a sufficiently powerful Sword of Luck. A Sword of Luck formed in his hand, and the next second, it suddenly disappeared, and everyone heard a scream. The Sword of Luck had pierced into the divine pet's body. Eternal freeze couldn't freeze the Sword of Luck. Lin Moyu controlled the Sword of Luck, stabbing 3 times in succession. After 3 stabs, the Sword of Luck dissipated, and the divine pet's aura decreased significantly. Everyone could feel the change, and each Tao sovereign's face showed joy. Before they could celebrate for half a second, Lin Moyu's voice sounded in their minds, "Don't relax, stay alert." The Tao sovereigns immediately put away their smiles, maintaining vigilance. Lin Moyu once again condensed the Sword of Luck. Dealing with the divine pet, one attack with the Sword of Luck might not be enough, so he had to continue. The Sword of Luck not only weakened its luck but also truly harmed it with the power of illusion. He summoned the Sword of Luck again, 1 sword, 2 swords, 3 swords. Lin Moyu could feel the divine pet's luck decreasing, but not by much. He felt it was far from the bottom, with room to decrease further. The lower the luck, the more powerful the explosive luck technique. The Sword of Luck merely reduced luck. The real killer move was the explosive luck technique. The 3rd time he condensed the Sword of Luck, it transformed into a poisonous sword. The Tao sovereigns were shocked at the sight of the poisonous sword. Though they couldn't understand it, they could feel its terrifying nature. If they were struck by it, it would be troublesome. The poisonous sword flashed, deeply piercing the divine pet. The divine pet screamed, its body shaking violently. Its body expanded, terrifying power emerging, and eternal freeze began to crack. The cold 9-star Lord's face changed slightly. It's desperate. I can't hold on for long. Lin Moyu said, hold on a bit longer, it's almost done. The divine pet's power grew immense, and eternal freeze was cracking. Lin Moyu condensed another Sword of Luck. The Sword of Luck, harming the enemy 1,000, harms oneself 200. Condensing the Sword of Luck 4 times in a row was a huge strain on Lin Moyu, consuming a lot of luck. Plus, simulating the divine pet's movements had already consumed a lot of luck, making this loss significant. The 4th Sword of Luck shot out like lightning, striking in an instant. The next moment, a peculiar aura rose from Lin Moyu. Explosive luck technique. The divine pet's body exploded, the explosion sudden and inexplicable. With a boom, the divine pet's rising aura abruptly stopped, its aura becoming extremely weak. Blood burst from its body, freezing on the ice. The divine pet's body was riddled with wounds, severely injured in an instant. It's really injured. How did it suddenly explode, like it self-destructed? How was it done? Silent, invisible, intangible, this is the power of the great Tao of illusion, truly unpredictable. It seems the divine pet is doomed this time. I said there couldn't be an unkillable existence, we just didn't find the right method. Even if we found the right method, so what? Do you have the power of illusion? The Tao sovereigns began to discuss again, very pleased. Lin Moyu shouted, quiet, stay alert. All the Tao sovereigns instantly fell silent, looking at each other. At that moment, they felt a sense of authority from Lin Moyu. For a Tao sovereign 7th realm, an elder of a top force, to be scolded by a heavenly sovereign, there was probably no second example on the origin continent. The divine pet was severely injured by the explosive luck technique, its desperate demeanor gone, its aura plummeting to Tao sovereign 4th realm. It was infected by the cold, unable to move. The cold 9-star lord said, I feel like I can kill it now. Lin Moyu raised an eyebrow, then you can try. He instructed all the Tao sovereigns to remain vigilant, preparing to simulate luck again. If it couldn't be killed, they couldn't let the divine pet escape. The cold 9-star lord let out a low shout, and Eternal Freeze emitted a piercing crack. The cracks rapidly increased, and Eternal Freeze shattered. Along with Eternal Freeze, the divine pet shattered into countless pieces, without a drop of blood spilled, all frozen. Lin Moyu activated the Eye of the Undead, his gaze narrowing, it's not completely dead yet. He saw that the divine pet's soul still existed, severely injured, only a remnant but not completely dead. As the thought arose, the divine pet's remnant soul let out a scream. Another wave of soul impact, much fiercer than before, directly initiated by the soul. Everyone present, including the cold 9-star lord, was momentarily lost. Lin Moyu wasn't spared. The scream contained some unknown great Tao power, irresistible. Fortunately, it was brief, just a moment. When Lin Moyu regained his senses, he found the divine pet's remnant soul had entered his soul world, exuding an intense aura of disgust. The soul's perception was sharper, the disgust more intense. Trying to possess me, the divine pet's remnant soul invaded his soul, its purpose clear. Lin Moyu's soul smirked, possession. The last thing I'm afraid of is soul possession. The divine pet charged as a stream of light, and Lin Moyu shouted, in my domain, who do you think you are? The great Tao of time and space activated simultaneously, making time and space chaotic. The divine pet lost its sense of direction. On the origin continent, Lin Moyu's great Taos of time and space had limited effect. But in his domain, the great Taos of time and space could easily exert powerful might. As the divine pet lost direction, Lin Moyu's soul cheerfully snapped his fingers. A massive gray flame rose, the long unused world-burning fire appearing in the soul world, and the next moment, the divine pet's remnant soul was engulfed by it. The divine pet's remnant soul screamed in pain. Meanwhile, the world-burning fire grew rapidly as it consumed the divine pet's remnant soul. This is really something. The world-burning fire hadn't grown in a long time, unable to find suitable nourishment. The divine pet's remnant soul entered, and Lin Moyu had a sudden idea, which proved effective. If he didn't use the world-burning fire, he could have used the calamity scepter to crush it, but that would have been wasteful. Chapter 2852, 2852. Chapter 2852, The Reward of the Great Tao, Living Again. The divine pet's remnant soul was quickly burned to ashes, and the world-burning fire grew significantly stronger. The world-burning fire was once recognized by Xiao San as the heavenly punishment fire. Xiao San's knowledge comes from bloodline inheritance, suggesting that the world-burning fire is very similar to the heavenly punishment fire, at least in appearance, or it wouldn't have been mistaken. Lin Moyu felt that the world-burning fire had great potential yet to be tapped, and its effects were definitely not limited to what they were now. He just hadn't been able to fully explore its capabilities. In the future, if the opportunity arises, he should study it more thoroughly. But before that, he must find a way to enhance the world-burning fire whenever possible. Currently, the world-burning fire is still too weak to be of great use. Lin Moyu returned to his senses and found that all the Tao sovereigns, including the cold 9-star lord, were looking at him with questioning eyes. Lin Moyu knew what they wanted to ask. The divine pet's remnant soul has been destroyed. The cold 9-star lord said, we know. Now it was Lin Moyu's turn to be puzzled. How did they know? What happened in his soul world was not visible to them. Lu Shudao reminded Lin Moyu, the aura. Lin Moyu suddenly understood the divine pet's remnant soul carried an aura of disgust. After entering his soul world, that aura naturally emanated from him. Now that the divine pet's remnant soul was destroyed, that aura disappeared. From this, they could tell that he had killed the divine pet's remnant soul without needing any explanation. The Tao sovereigns were evidently curious about how he managed to kill the divine pet's remnant soul. Even weakened, it wouldn't be weaker than a Tao sovereign fourth realm. And no matter how strong he was still just a high-level heavenly sovereign. Soul battles are extremely dangerous, yet he was able to kill it so easily, naturally arousing their curiosity. However, they were tactful enough not to ask. One of the Tao sovereigns said softly, "The divine pet is dead, we finally don't have to be buried with it." He used the term, buried with, which, though not entirely appropriate, was quite accurate. They weren't voluntarily going to be buried with it, they were forced into it. The cold 9-star Lord was about to speak when a powerful aura descended. The sky above the Origin secret vault suddenly changed, and everyone saw the starry sky. Someone exclaimed, "These are the great Tao stars of the Origin continent." On the Origin continent, there are great Tao stars, each representing a star lord, and beyond that, the great Tao. The great Tao is above the stars, rarely visible, yet now it appeared voluntarily. The cold 9-star Lord was the most knowledgeable about the great Tao among them, having seen the great Tao stars several times. He said, "We killed the divine pet, and the great Tao will grant us a reward." The Tao sovereigns were shocked. "There's a reward?" The cold 9-star Lord said, "The great Tao is just, it punishes wrongdoing and rewards merit. Extraterrestrial gods are despised by the great Tao, so killing the pet of an extraterrestrial god naturally earns a reward. Though the reward won't be as great as killing an extraterrestrial god, it shouldn't be too little." Someone asked, "Star Lord, what will the reward be?" The cold 9-star Lord shook his head, "I don't know, the great Tao has its own arrangements." At this moment, 3 stars in the sky lit up. These stars represented the falling Star Lord, the 2-wind Star Lord, and the cold 9-star Lord. Then, the remnant souls of the falling Star Lord and the 2-wind Star Lord appeared simultaneously. Both were clearly surprised, unaware of what had happened or why they suddenly appeared here. The 2-wind Star Lord asked, "Cold 9, what's going on?" The cold 9-star Lord said, "No need to ask, you'll know soon." As he spoke, 3 beams of light descended from the distant stars, landing on the 3 of them. Their auras changed immediately, and the remnants of their souls suddenly showed signs of life. The falling Star Lord's eyes shone, "I actually have a chance to be reborn." The 2-wind Star Lord was also stunned, "Me too, I don't have to die." The cold 9-star Lord said, "This is the reward of the great Tao. We can live again, though we'll lose our positions as Star Lords and all our memories, but our talents will be retained, allowing us to cultivate rapidly." He looked at the falling Star Lord and the 2-wind Star Lord, "Are you satisfied with this reward?" The falling Star Lord laughed, "For someone about to die, living again is more than enough. Even if I return as immortal, I would be willing." The 2-wind Star Lord said, "Of course, living again is all that matters. I didn't expect you all to actually kill the divine pet, I'm impressed." As he spoke, his gaze swept over, finally landing on Lin Moyu. No need to say, it must have been Lin Moyu's doing. If it were the Tao sovereigns, they would have done it long ago. At this moment, strands of the great Tao appeared in the sky, corresponding to each Tao sovereign. The great Tao each Tao sovereign comprehended was different, so the great Taos that appeared were naturally different. Without exception, these great Taos bestowed rewards, and all the Tao sovereigns benefited. "My realm has loosened, I won't take long to break through to the 8th realm after returning. I feel the same after years of hard work, I can finally break through. This is the reward of the great Tao, it's truly wondrous. Indeed, the great Tao reward enhances one's realm, and my path will surely be smooth." Having killed the divine pet, everyone contributed, so everyone received a share of the reward. After receiving their rewards, they realized that Lin Moyu, who contributed the most, should receive the greatest reward. They all looked at Lin Moyu, eager to see what reward he would get. Lin Moyu was also a bit expectant, curious about what reward he would receive. After everyone else received their rewards, it was finally Lin Moyu's turn. The gray and white undying great Tao appeared, followed by the space great Tao and the time great Tao, almost simultaneously. Lin Moyu cultivated several great Taos, so several great Taos appeared. The appearance of 3 great Taos already left everyone astonished. Lin Xiaoyu actually cultivates 3 great Taos. Not just that, Lin Xiaoyu also has a great Tao of illusion, making it 4 great Taos. 4 great Taos cultivated together, a high-level heavenly sovereign at just over 2,000 years old. This isn't just genius, it's monstrous. Throughout history, there's never been a monster like Lin Xiaoyu. Unprecedented and unparalleled. Amidst everyone's exclamations, a fourth great Tao appeared. It wasn't the luck great Tao but a very unfamiliar great Tao. Lin Moyu had never seen this great Tao and was puzzled as to why he had it. When this great Tao appeared, the cold 9-star lord, the falling star lord, and the 2-wind star lord all showed shock. The 2-wind star lord said, "I feel an urge to kneel." The falling star lord said, "I feel it too. What is this great Tao? It feels so noble." The cold 9-star lord shook his head, "I don't know, I've never seen it before." This great Tao was pitch black, without any luster, and its reality couldn't be discerned. Lin Moyu remained silent, not knowing what this great Tao was or why it appeared here. Then, a fifth great Tao appeared. This time, it was the luck great Tao, shrouded in mist, faintly visible. 5 great Taos suddenly emitted light, falling on Lin Moyu. Chapter 2853, 2853. Chapter 2853, I don't know you. Under the illumination of the great Tao's light, Lin Moyu felt his power beginning to increase rapidly. At the same time, countless insights flooded in, whether he wanted them or not, as if forcefully stuffed into him. Lin Moyu's soul was fully occupied, absorbing and digesting everything. Having just reached the high-level Heavenly Sovereign realm, his level began to rise again, advancing toward the peak Heavenly Sovereign. Insights came in waves, one after another, surging in. Lin Moyu's understanding of the Great Tao deepened, and finally, he realized what that dark Great Tao was. It turns out to be the 1,000-star Great Tao. Lin Moyu had seen the 1,000-star Great Tao mentioned in the data. But it was only mentioned briefly, without explaining what the 1,000-star Great Tao actually was. Even now, Lin Moyu only knew that this Great Tao was the 1,000-star Great Tao, but not what it meant or why it appeared here, delivering insights directly to him. During the process of killing the divine pet, Lin Moyu contributed the most, especially in the end when he personally killed the divine pet's remnant soul. So Lin Moyu received the most rewards from the Great Tao. His aura grew stronger and stronger, reaching its peak within a few minutes, and then his realm shattered, advancing him to the peak Heavenly Sovereign level. But the advancement stopped there, and he didn't continue to break through. Breaking through again would mean becoming a Tao Sovereign, and breaking through to Tao Sovereign isn't that easy, and even if he could, Lin Moyu didn't want to. So Lin Moyu voluntarily stopped his breakthrough. He began his own clever maneuver. Taking advantage of the Great Tao's reward, Lin Moyu seized the opportunity to start condensing Tao patterns. Previously, condensing Tao patterns only resulted in an outline, taking several days, as the difficulty of Tao patterns was higher than expected. Moreover, the more Tao patterns there were, the harder they were to condense. Most importantly, he was still just a Heavenly Sovereign. If he became a Tao Sovereign, the difficulty of condensing patterns would decrease significantly. But that's not what Lin Moyu wanted. He aimed to condense at least 6 Tao patterns before becoming a Tao Sovereign. Of course, this was just the basic goal. If possible, Lin Moyu wanted to condense even more Tao patterns. The more Tao patterns, the more powerful. To achieve his invincible ideal, he must continuously break limits, defy conventions, and forge a path unique to himself. With the help of the Great Tao's reward, Lin Moyu became incredibly close to the Great Tao, and the speed of condensing Tao patterns increased significantly. The power of the Great Tao formed the outline of the Tao pattern, and Lin Moyu infused his insights into the Great Tao, forming the core of the Tao pattern. In just a few minutes, a Tao pattern successfully appeared and automatically flew into his soul. This was Lin Moyu's second Tao pattern, the first having merged into the luck talisman, becoming a luck rune. What should I do with the second Tao pattern? It's not the right time yet. The power of the Great Tao is still present, and I can continue to condense. Just as he thought this, all the power of the Great Tao retreated like a receding tide. It was as if the Great Tao noticed what he was doing and left disdainfully. Lin Moyu smiled wryly, "Do you have to be so realistic? I was just borrowing a bit of your power." He was helpless. If the Great Tao didn't give it, he couldn't force it. Congratulations, Lin Xiaoyu, on advancing to the peak Heavenly Sovereign. The Tao Sovereign realm is just around the corner. Voices of congratulations reached his ears, as the Tao Sovereigns congratulated Lin Moyu. At this moment, he appeared different in their eyes, no longer just an ordinary Heavenly Sovereign. Over 2,000 years old, mastering 5 great Taos, and on the verge of entering the Tao Sovereign realm. A Tao sovereign under 3,000 years old, with 5 great Taos, one of which is the great Tao of illusion. Any one of these accomplishments would be enough to overshadow contemporary heavenly prides. Moreover, these almost impossible feats were concentrated in one person. Such a prodigy, they didn't know how to evaluate. Lin Moyu returned the greetings, as they were all seniors, and proper etiquette was necessary. The cold 9-star lord looked at Lin Moyu. I am about to be reborn. I want to entrust my Star Lord legacy to you, to find a suitable successor. The 2-wind Star Lord also said, I entrust my legacy to you as well. You must help with this. The falling Star Lord's legacy was already in Lin Moyu's hands, and now the cold 9-star lord and the 2-wind Star Lord also wanted to give theirs to him. Lin Moyu, being accustomed to many obligations, readily agreed, no problem, I will definitely find suitable successors. If not, I'll take it on myself. The cold 9-star lord said sternly, no, you must walk the great Tao, not follow our path. The 2-wind Star Lord said, indeed, taking our path would be too wasteful. If you can't find a successor, wait for us to be reborn and find us. All the Tao sovereigns gave him a surprised look, thinking he was keeping it in the family. Lin Moyu joked, you're being reborn with the power of the great Tao, why follow the old path? The 2-wind Star Lord said, the path of the great Tao is not easy, but I will try. If it doesn't work, and you can't find a suitable successor, remember to find me. The cold 9-star lord and the falling Star Lord both turned their heads, speechless, as if saying, I don't know you. The cold 9-star lord said, if there's nothing else, we 3 are ready to be reborn, and the secret vault will dissolve. Lin Moyu clasped his fists, I wish the 3 of you success in attaining the great Tao in this life. The cold 9-star lord waved his hand, and all the cold water shattered. The cold air turned into white mist, boiling up, and the cold 9-star lord's body glowed, condensing into a white ice crystal that flew into Lin Moyu's hand. The cold 9 ice crystal, this was his Star Lord legacy, equivalent to the falling Star Lord's falling star bow. The 2-wind Star Lord laughed, may the gentle breeze always accompany you, watching over the 9 heavens. A cold and a hot wind swept up the 2-wind Star Lord, shooting into the sky. At the same time, a leaf fell from the sky into Lin Moyu's hand. The green wind leaf, this was the 2-wind Star Lord's legacy. The falling Star Lord chuckled, young friend, may we meet again in the future. As he spoke, he turned into a point of starlight, disappearing into the sky. The entire secret vault shook and trembled, beginning to dissolve. It wasn't collapsing due to the great Tao's rules, the 3 Star Lords had simultaneously withdrawn the secret vault. The aura of the origin continent surged in, and the secret vault quickly disappeared, shattering like dust and foam. A familiar scene entered his vision, and Lin Moyu found himself back at the lake bottom. With him were 31 Tao sovereigns, while the 3 Star Lords had been reborn, their whereabouts unknown. This was a benefit granted by the great Tao, something ordinary people could never enjoy. We're finally back. We really made it back, it's nostalgic. I thought we'd die in there, thanks to Lin Xiaoyu. Not far away, Xiahou Yuan and others stared in disbelief. Xiahou Yuan, he actually succeeded. Ancestor Wujian said, we sent so many Tao sovereigns and heavenly prides in, yet none compared to him. Wang Hongdao squinted slightly, this boy is truly a prodigy. His tone was somewhat peculiar, and Xiahou Yuan glanced at him. Wang Hongdao, don't get any ideas, or the 3rd ancestor and I will personally visit you. Wang Hongdao chuckled, I'm just expressing admiration, Xiahou Daoyu, don't misunderstand. Father. Suddenly, a clear voice called out, and Lu Fengyao rushed over with joy. Chapter 2854, 2854. Chapter 2854, can't hide my own matters anymore. Lu Fengyao, a Tao sovereign, at this moment, acted like a child, throwing herself into Lu Shudao's arms. Tears fell uncontrollably. Everyone could see that the two had a very deep bond. Lin Moyu walked towards Xiahou Yuan and the others, greeted by complex looks. Especially the Saintess of the Immortal Lotus and others, during the time Lin Moyu was inside, they learned a lot about the Starwind secret vault. Many heavenly prides had returned in defeat, some losing their lives, perishing, with over 100 Tao sovereign 7th realm experts falling. They never expected Lin Moyu to bring anyone back. It was already impressive if Lin Moyu could return safely himself. Yet he appeared so suddenly, not only returning safely but also bringing people back. How did he manage to do it? What exactly happened inside the secret vault? How did he accomplish what even Dao Sovereign's 7th realm ancestors couldn't? Is he really that smart, or just lucky? Amidst their complex gazes, Lin Moyu approached Shaho Yuan. Senior, I did not fail in my mission. Shaho Yuan squinted, his old face breaking into a smile. Very good, very good. Ancestor Wujian asked, Young one, how did you do it? Lin Moyu took out a jade plaque and handed it to Shaho Yuan. The situation inside the secret vault is all here, please take a look. Shaho Yuan took the jade plaque, quickly scanning its contents with his soul power. His old eyes sparkled with surprise. So that's how it is. He handed the jade plaque to Ancestor Tianjian and Wang Hongdao. You two take a look as well. Both looked at the jade plaque, learning the situation inside the Starwind secret vault, and couldn't help but show shock. They exchanged a glance, making a decision through their silent exchange. Shaho Yuan addressed the Dao Sovereigns. Congratulations on returning safely. The Dao Sovereigns all saluted Shaho Yuan. Greetings, Senior. Shaho Yuan took out a Dao stone. Everyone, please make a great Dao oath not to disclose anything about the Starwind secret vault. These ancestors understood the gravity of the situation and immediately made the great Dao oath. The matters of the Starwind secret vault would remain a secret within them. After they made their oaths, Shaho Yuan said, Please wait here for a moment, we have some matters to discuss, and then we'll return together. After speaking, he returned, looking at Lin Moyu with a complex expression. Lin Moyu chuckled, I understand the rules, it's just a great Dao oath, I'll make it. Shaho Yuan thought for a moment, then shook his head, forget it, you don't need to. Lin Moyu was slightly surprised, such preferential treatment for me. Shaho Yuan snorted, you know too much. If you had to make a great Dao oath for everything, who knows how many you'd have to make. Indeed, Lin Moyu knew too much. Shaho Yuan even suspected that Lin Moyu might know more about some things than they did. And whether the jade plaque Lin Moyu handed over truly contained all the details was uncertain. Shaho Yuan kept this in mind, considering it a gesture of goodwill to Lin Moyu, not requiring him to make a great Dao oath. Perhaps there might be a chance to learn more from Lin Moyu. The Saintess of the Immortal Lotus and others were itching with curiosity, their desire for knowledge exploding. They knew there must be big secrets inside the Starwind secret vault, but those ancestors were all required to make a great Dao oath, preventing them from revealing anything. Now, their only source of information was Lin Moyu. Sensing their gaze, Lin Moyu immediately said, Don't think about getting anything out of me, I won't say a word. Listen to me, those secrets inside, while secrets, won't help your cultivation. When you reach the Dao Sovereign's 7th or 8th realm, you'll naturally know. Lin Moyu knew his words might not quell their curiosity, but he spoke the truth. Whether they listened or not was up to them. Shaho Yuan said, The Starwind secret vault has disappeared, we should head back. Let's go, back to the merchant city, then everyone can return home. A large boat sped across the land of the eastern continent. Soon, the boat arrived at a location. Lin Moyu keenly sensed the presence of an origin spirit vein here. The aura was faint, likely a small branch of the origin spirit vein extending here. In the distance, a city could be seen hundreds of kilometers away. This city was located on the origin spirit vein, a human city, though whether it belonged to the Lufeng Merchant Association was unknown. The eastern continent was vast, and Lin Moyu's understanding of it was still far from complete. The flying boat landed, and Shaho Yuan said, Wait a moment, the third ancestor will take us back. He had already contacted the third ancestor, who, as the master of the origin spirit vein, had the ability to teleport them all back, saving a lot of travel time. Half a minute later, the ground shook, and origin power surged from the ground like a spring, quickly enveloping everyone. The world shifted, and vision blurred. When their sight cleared, they found themselves outside the merchant city. Shaho Yuan said, All right, everyone can disperse now, remember your oaths. Everyone saluted Shaho Yuan and thanked Lin Moyu. Their words were simple but sincere, each inviting Lin Moyu to visit their sect. After all, they were the ancestors of their respective sects, and if Lin Moyu visited, he would be an honored guest. Lin Moyu had saved their lives, a debt not easily repaid. Shaho Yuan looked at Ancestor Wujian and Wang Hongdao, Are you two planning to see the third ancestor now? Ancestor Wujian nodded, with the Starwind secret vault matter concluded, we should see the third ancestor. Wang Hongdao also said, this matter shouldn't be delayed. If not for the Starwind secret vault, they would have sought the third ancestor earlier to discuss the Tao sovereign method. Now that the Starwind secret vault was resolved, they naturally wanted to see the third ancestor as soon as possible. As for their sect members, they didn't need to worry. These people were ancestor-level figures, free to choose whether to stay or go. Ancestor Wujian handed Lin Moyu a small wooden sword. "You're welcome to visit our heavenly sword sect. This is my token, please keep it." Lin Moyu accepted it without hesitation. "Thank you, Ancestor Wujian, I'll visit when I have the chance." Wang Hongdao chuckled and also handed over his token. "Feel free to visit the Tao-seeking sect. Our scenery is quite nice, suitable for both short and long stays." Lin Moyu accepted it politely, not refusing any invitations. The two left to see the third ancestor. Shaho Yuan said quietly, "The Heavenly Sword sect is worth visiting, but forget about the Tao-seeking sect. Wang Hongdao is cunning, and the Tao-seeking sect isn't peaceful." Lin Moyu smiled. "Thank you for the reminder, Senior Shaho, I know." He had a grudge with the Tao-seeking sect. Zhao Dongsheng was killed by him, and the Great Sword Tao Sovereign also died because of him. Not only did they die, but they also became his resurrected followers. Although the Coldwater Holy Land took the blame, he didn't believe the Tao-seeking sect was unaware. If he went to the Tao-seeking sect, he might not come out again. Lu Fengyao and Lu Shudao approached, and Lu Fengyao handed 2 jade bottles to Lin Moyu. "These are your longevity pills." Seeing Lu Fengyao's gaze, Lin Moyu knew that his matters couldn't be hidden anymore. Chapter 2855, 2855. Chapter 2855, Who Comprehended the Thousand-Star Great Tao? The previous longevity pill was actually coaxed from Lu Fengyao, and Lin Moyu didn't take it himself, even though he pretended he did. When he gave the longevity pill to Lu Shudao, Lin Moyu knew it would be exposed, and he didn't intend to hide it. He was mentally prepared and even thought of an explanation. "Sister Fengyao, karma is truly fascinating." The implication was that if he hadn't kept the longevity pill, Lu Shudao wouldn't have been able to take it. That's karma. The cause and effect are indeed fascinating. Lu Fengyao, being clever, followed Lin Moyu's words. "It is indeed fascinating. Keep these 2 longevity pills safe." Lin Moyu smiled. "How could I refuse?" He said he was embarrassed, but his hands were honest, already taking the jade bottles. Lu Fengyao gave Lin Moyu a look. "Thank you for bringing my father back. I'll go home with him first and come find you in a few days." Everyone dispersed, leaving only Shaho Yuan. Shaho Yuan said cheerfully, "Do you have time for a cup of tea?" Lin Moyu replied, "I couldn't ask for more." Shaho Yuan took Lin Moyu to his residence in the merchant city, where he had a large estate. Shaho Yuan didn't belong to any sect or holy land, but he was close to the third ancestor and could be considered part of the Lufeng Merchant Association. He didn't usually go to the southern continent, spending most of his time in the eastern continent, handling many matters for the third ancestor. Some even considered Shaho Yuan the third ancestor's spokesperson. Shaho Yuan led Lin Moyu to a beautifully crafted tea pavilion, took out tea utensils, and began brewing tea. Shaho Yuan moved slowly, meticulously performing each step, as he had a particular passion for tea. While brewing, Shaho Yuan said, "I don't like using those automatic tea-making treasures. They make tea convenient but lose the essence of tea. Drinking tea is like life. Many things must be personally experienced to understand the sweet and bitter." Lin Moyu didn't flatter him. "I don't have such refined tastes. As long as the tea is good and suits my taste, that's enough. It's like when someone says forcibly picking a melon makes it less sweet, but if I like that melon, I'll pick it regardless of sweetness." Shaho Yuan laughed. "Your thinking isn't wrong. As cultivators, we must have our own ideas when pursuing the Great Tao." As they spoke, Shaho Yuan finished brewing the tea and personally poured half a cup for Lin Moyu. "Try it." Lin Moyu tasted it. "Excellent spiritual tea, but if you want me to describe it in detail, I can't." Shaho Yuan laughed. "Good is enough. No need for all the details. I've heard enough flattery over the years, so we don't need to speak falsely." Lin Moyu said, "I can guess what you want to ask, and since you didn't make me swear a great Tao oath, I understand. Most of what happened in the Starwind secret vault is recorded in the jade plaque. There's only one thing not recorded, which is what I want to ask you about." Shaho Yuan sipped his tea with a smile. "Go on." Lin Moyu said, "After killing the divine pet of the extraterrestrial god, all participants received rewards from the Great Tao. The 3 Star Lords were rewarded with reincarnation opportunities. Although they lost their positions as Star Lords, their future paths will be broader. I can feel that during their reincarnation, their luck is incredibly strong, and they will surely have smooth futures. The other Tao sovereign ancestors also received rewards, with their realms loosening, likely allowing them to break through to the Tao sovereign 8th realm upon returning. Since I was the one who killed the divine pet and its remnant soul, I received the most rewards. You know that I cultivate multiple great Taos, and this time, I gained an additional great Tao from the rewards. Now I have 5 great Taos. At this point, Lin Moyu seemed a bit helpless. With each additional great Tao, the difficulty of cultivation increases significantly, and it's not just a simple multiplication. 5 great Taos mean the difficulty is far more than 5 times greater. Xiahou Yuan sipped his tea, eyes slightly narrowed with a smile. 4 or 5, what's the difference for you? Even if others have only 1 great Tao, at your age, they might just be supremes. Lin Moyu said, but I've never seen this great Tao before. Have you heard of the 1,000-star great Tao? Xiahou Yuan paused, showing a puzzled expression. 1,000-star great Tao. I think I've heard of it somewhere. Lin Moyu said, I also saw the 1,000-star great Tao mentioned in some data, but I don't know more specific information. I tried to comprehend the 1,000-star great Tao, but I couldn't find a way in. If I abandon this great Tao, it feels wrong. Lin Moyu could abandon the 1,000-star great Tao, but his intuition told him it was better not to. He trusted his intuition but couldn't find a way to cultivate the 1,000-star great Tao. Seeing Xiahou Yuan's expression, it seemed he wasn't familiar with the 1,000-star great Tao either. Xiahou Yuan thought for a moment but couldn't find information on the 1,000-star great Tao. He called out to the void, Shaolian, find all the information on the 1,000-star great Tao. In the merchant city, the one truly omniscient was the manager, Lu Lian. A few seconds later, Lu Lian provided the results, projecting the information in front of them. The 1,000-star great Tao is an ancient great Tao that has disappeared for many years. Its specific function wasn't in Lu Lian's database. Lin Moyu felt a bit disappointed. If even Lu Lian didn't know, who else could? Xiahou Yuan frowned. The 3rd ancestor is currently in a meeting. I'll ask him later. Have you ever practiced any techniques related to stars? From the name, the 1,000-star great Tao should be related to stars, and this great Tao is very ancient, rarely appearing. Lin Moyu thought and suddenly remembered the starlight law he had long abandoned. After arriving on the origin continent, the starlight law never found a corresponding great Tao, and over time, it was abandoned. Lin Moyu once thought the starlight law was a unique law of the great world, perhaps derived from a great Tao, but its connection had become very weak. He explained his past practice of the starlight law. Xiahou Yuan thought and said, it should be the starlight law. You can try to sense its current state. Lin Moyu nodded, sensing his starlight law. His expression gradually changed. It really is it. I feel the stars I once condensed are now imbued with a wisp of great Tao power. Xiahou Yuan laughed. Everything has a cause, nothing happens without reason. The appearance of the 1,000-star great Tao is because of your past practice of the starlight law. You can try starting with the starlight law, perhaps you'll find the method to cultivate the 1,000-star great Tao. Lin Moyu nodded, I'll give it a try. Xiahou Yuan asked Lin Moyu more about the divine pet. He asked in detail, and Lin Moyu could sense Xiahou Yuan's interest in the divine pet. Whatever Xiahou Yuan asked, if Lin Moyu knew, he didn't hide it, and for things he didn't know, he added some of his speculations. After drinking tea for a while, an urgent voice sounded outside the tea pavilion. Who comprehended the 1,000-star great Tao? Chapter 2856, 2856. Chapter 2856, naturally inclined to be a fixer. Space twisted, forming a simple spatial passage. The 3rd ancestor's voice, tinged with urgency, came rushing out of the spatial passage. He had been trading with 2 other ancestors, and as soon as the transaction was complete, he received Xiahou Yuan's message and immediately opened the spatial passage. Hearing his voice, Lin Moyu realized that the 1,000-star great Tao might be very unusual. The 3rd ancestor was always calm, having lived for so many years and possessing a special status. Remaining unflustered had become second nature to him. No matter how big the matter, it was nothing to him. But now he seemed a bit anxious, indicating that the 1,000-star great Tao must be extraordinary. Xiahou Yuan also sensed the 3rd ancestor's unusual behavior, realizing that the 1,000-star great Tao was not ordinary. The space twisted more violently, and powerful origin energy surged as the third ancestor directly opened a passable spatial passage. "Come over here." Xiahou Yuan put down his teacup and joked, "Let's go see what our third ancestor has to say." Lin Moyu also laughed as he stood up. "Let's see what the thousand-star Great Tao is, to make the third ancestor so unsettled." The two stepped into the spatial passage, and after a brief teleportation, arrived in the mysterious space where the third ancestor resided. Once again feeling the chaos of time, Lin Moyu couldn't help but wonder, after all these years, aren't you bored? Staying here for countless years without leaving, it's worse than being in prison. At least in prison, you can get some fresh air. Lin Moyu thought that in the entire origin continent, if anyone was the most reclusive, it would be the third ancestor. The third ancestor stared at Lin Moyu. "Did you comprehend the thousand-star Great Tao?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "Let me clarify, I didn't comprehend it. It appeared on its own during the Great Tao reward." The third ancestor waved his hand. "Whatever it is, summon it for me to see." Lin Moyu waved his hand, summoning the thousand-star Great Tao. A dark, lightless Great Tao appeared beside him. It didn't look appealing at all, unlike other Great Taos that have their own characteristics, whether brilliant, hazy, or vibrant. It was just black, with no light, like a black ribbon, with nothing else. Lin Moyu tried to sense it, but felt nothing, not even the origin energy. He even suspected that this Great Tao was dead, and what he had was just a corpse. Suddenly, his vision blurred, and the third ancestor appeared before him, his gaze deep and fixed on the thousand-star Great Tao. The thousand-star Great Tao, it really is the thousand-star Great Tao. His voice trembled, and not just his voice, his body also shook slightly. He was very excited, unable to contain himself. Lin Moyu asked, "Third ancestor, what exactly is the thousand-star Great Tao?" Xiahou Yuan was also curious. "Third ancestor, if you know, please tell us." The third ancestor's emotions gradually calmed, and he took a deep breath. "The thousand-star Great Tao is a primordial Great Tao. First, you need to understand that the thousand in thousand-star Great Tao doesn't mean 1,000, it means infinite." Lin Moyu fully understood this. In cultivation, numbers often don't represent their literal meaning. For example, the phrase, 1 gives birth to 2, 2 gives birth to 3, where 3 represents many or infinite. People often say, 3,000 Great Taos, not meaning 3,000, but infinite Great Taos. Then you must know that Great Taos also have different levels. A simple distinction is between primordial Great Taos and ordinary Great Taos. Ordinary Great Taos are generally derived from primordial Great Taos, considered subdivisions, while primordial Great Taos are their rulers. For example, the 5 Great Taos of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth all originate from the 5 elements Great Tao. Through the third ancestor's explanation, Lin Moyu began to understand the essence of the Great Tao. He hadn't realized that there was a distinction among Great Taos, always thinking a Great Tao was just a Great Tao. It's often said that there's no useless Great Tao, only useless cultivators. Whether a Great Tao is powerful depends on the cultivator. Now it seemed that wasn't entirely true. Primordial Great Taos naturally suppressed the ordinary Great Taos they derived. Not just Lin Moyu, but Xiahou Yuan also seemed to be hearing this for the first time. Lin Moyu asked, "If primordial Great Taos are so powerful, why don't cultivators seek to comprehend them? And I see no one on the origin continent knows of their existence." The third ancestor snorted. "Do you think primordial Great Taos are easy to comprehend? Do you know how difficult it is? If everyone knew about them, they'd all chase after them. Needless to say, the number of current Tao sovereigns would drop by 90%. After speaking, the third ancestor glared at Lin Moyu. "Don't speak so lightly, just because you can comprehend it doesn't mean others can." Lin Moyu chuckled awkwardly. "I was just saying, why so worked up? Indeed, if everyone tried to comprehend primordial Great Taos, abandoning ordinary ones, what if they couldn't comprehend them? They'd be stuck at a certain realm, unable to progress. For the human race as a whole, it wouldn't be beneficial. Ordinary Great Taos, while less powerful, are still usable. As long as one's realm is high enough, they can still defeat cultivators of primordial Great Taos with ordinary ones." Xiahou Yuan asked, "Is the knowledge of primordial Great Taos exclusive to you, third ancestor?" The third ancestor said, "The king of the Sea of Realms knows, as does that guy from the demon race, the dragon god of the dragon race, the insect emperor of the insect race, and that immortal tree of the 100 Herbs Alliance, but they won't speak of it. It seems quite a few know, but none have spoken of it. Now, there are two more, Shaho Yuan and Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu asked, what are the primordial great Taos? The third ancestor said, many, like the soul great Tao you comprehend, is a primordial great Tao, though it hasn't evolved into ordinary great Taos. Besides the soul great Tao, there's time, space, causality, fate, yin-yang, and the five elements, all primordial great Taos. Some primordial great Taos evolve into several ordinary great Taos. Listening to the third ancestor, Lin Moyu realized his time, space, and luck great Taos were all primordial great Taos. The undying great Tao, his life Tao, was no less than these, also a primordial great Tao. Lin Moyu even suspected the life great Tao might have evolved from the undying great Tao. These great Taos were understandable, but the thousand-star great Tao still puzzled him. If the thousand-star great Tao is a primordial great Tao, why is it like this? The third ancestor said, it wasn't always like this, but due to some accident, it became this way. Previously, the thousand-star great Tao was dormant, now it's awakened. You can try to repair it, restoring its former glory. Repairing a great Tao. Back in the great world, Lin Moyu had to repair the divine path. Now he was tasked with repairing a great Tao, making him wonder if he was naturally inclined to be a fixer. Still, he asked, how do I repair it? The third ancestor said, the thousand-star great Tao governs all constellations, and each star represents a star lord. You can collect star lord legacies to restore the constellations to the great Tao. You've obtained the legacies of 3 star lords, which can be used to repair the thousand-star great Tao. Chapter 2857, 2857. Chapter 2857, Exchanging Star Lord Legacies for Star Lord Legacies. The thousand-star great Tao is actually the primordial great Tao of all constellations. Each constellation in the starry sky, the coveted position of Star Lord by countless people, is merely a point of starlight within the thousand-star great Tao. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, no wonder it's called the thousand-star great Tao. Shaho Yuan, with some curiosity, said, try it. Lin Moyu nodded, took out the legacy item given by the cold 9-star Lord, and was about to try it when he suddenly thought of another issue. Third ancestor, if I integrate the legacy item into the thousand-star great Tao, what about the cold 9-star Lord's legacy? He had promised the cold 9-star Lord to find a suitable successor for him. A promise made cannot be broken. The third ancestor said, it won't have any effect. Lin Moyu trusted the third ancestor's words and allowed the cold 9-star Lord's legacy item to interact with the thousand-star great Tao. The legacy item smoothly integrated into the thousand-star great Tao without any hindrance. The sensation was quite magical. The thousand-star great Tao was merely a projection summoned by Lin Moyu, and the actual great Tao wasn't present. Yet the Star Lord's legacy item was real, a tangible object, and it seamlessly merged with the projection, despite being separated by millions of miles. Lin Moyu thought, perhaps this legacy item originally came from the thousand-star great Tao, and now it's just returning. A point of light appeared on the thousand-star great Tao, flickering faintly, and the great Tao was no longer entirely dark. As Lin Moyu integrated the cold 9-star Lord's legacy item into the thousand-star great Tao, the world of great Tao stars outside the origin continent trembled. A dark great Tao silently appeared among the myriad stars, and upon its appearance, it emitted a terrifying aura. The aura wasn't powerful but immensely noble, like a high king, weakened yet still full of regal presence. Within the great Tao, countless people sensed the appearance of the thousand-star great Tao and turned to look. One by one, the Tao masters opened their eyes, their gazes materializing, crossing the starry sky, and landing on the thousand-star great Tao. The thousand-star great Tao has awakened. Someone has comprehended the thousand-star great Tao. Who is it? Does this mean the once thousand-star great Tao is returning? The thousand-star great Tao remained motionless, positioned at the center of all stars, becoming the king of all stars. Then, a star flew towards the thousand-star great Tao. This was the star representing the cold 9-star Lord, and it automatically entered the thousand-star great Tao, bringing light to the dark great Tao. The power of the thousand-star great Tao began to rapidly recover, growing stronger and gradually radiating throughout the origin continent. As the instigator, Lin Moyu was the first to sense the power emanating from the thousand-star great Tao. The thousand-star great Tao was only truly activated at this moment. Waves of insights surged in, requiring no effort on his part to comprehend the thousand-star Great Tao delivered them directly, and he only needed to accept them. Lin Moyu finally understood the strength of the thousand-star Great Tao. It is the primordial Great Tao of all Star Lords, and before it, all Star Lord positions must bow. However, the true strength of the thousand-star Great Tao lies beyond this. Lin Moyu seemed to see a magnificent scene. The Great Tao trembled, countless Star Lords flew out from the Great Tao, forming battle formations under the command of the Tao Master, unmatched in combat power. When the thousand-star Great Tao existed, those Star Lords were beings of the Great Tao realm. Later, the thousand-star Great Tao fell asleep, and without the primordial Great Tao, the Star Lord positions could only be equivalent to the Tao Sovereign realm. Some weaker Star Lords could only be compared to the Tao Sovereign 8th or even 7th realm. But now, the thousand-star Great Tao has returned, meaning the path for Star Lords can be traversed again. However, currently, the Star Lords cannot return to the Great Tao. Now, only Lin Moyu comprehends the thousand-star Great Tao, and only he can manipulate it to allow them to return. There's also the question of whether they are willing to return. If they wish to return to the thousand-star Great Tao, they must obey Lin Moyu. Regardless of Lin Moyu's realm, he is now the sole comprehender of the thousand-star Great Tao, leaving the Star Lords with no choice. Lin Moyu then integrated the legacy items of the falling Star Lord and the two-wind Star Lord into the Great Tao. The thousand-star Great Tao gained 2 more stars, becoming brighter, and its power increased again. More waves of insights came, and Lin Moyu's understanding of the thousand-star Great Tao deepened. With 3 stars returning, Lin Moyu's comprehension of the thousand-star Great Tao reached the heavenly sovereign level. He estimated that with about 10 stars returning to the thousand-star Great Tao, the insights gained would be enough for him to advance to the Tao Sovereign. He now had a goal, to collect Star Lord legacy items and restore them. Lin Moyu's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the third ancestor. Third ancestor, I remember the Merchant Association has Star Lord legacy items, right? The third ancestor squinted at Lin Moyu, and from his expression, Lin Moyu knew he was definitely planning something. He probably wanted to set some other conditions. Just using origin crystals likely wouldn't be enough. After a moment, the third ancestor's voice slowly sounded, indeed, there are, but what do you plan to use to buy them? Star Lord legacy items represent the position of Star Lord, not something that can be bought with origin crystals. Lin Moyu said, don't you already know what I have? Just tell me directly, and I'll see if I can get it. The third ancestor thought for a moment, didn't you just get 3 Star Lord legacies? You can use them to exchange. Exchanging Star Lord legacies for Star Lord legacies, what a deal. Lin Moyu quickly understood the third ancestor's intention. The Star Lord legacies held by the Lufeng Merchant Association were not from the top 28 Star Lords but from some weaker ones. Even if someone obtained the position of Star Lord, it would only be equivalent to the Tao Sovereign 7th or 8th realm at most. To put it bluntly, the third ancestor wasn't interested. Only the top Star Lord positions could catch the third ancestor's eye. That was the previous situation, but now it seemed different. Lin Moyu feigned ignorance. With the return of the thousand-star Great Tao, those Star Lord legacies can eventually enter the Great Tao and become Great Tao realm. Why wouldn't you want them? The third ancestor chuckled, even in the Great Tao realm, there's a difference. Those who took the wrong path, even if they become Great Tao realm, what then? Do they have a path forward? Lin Moyu suddenly understood, you mean the top Star Lord legacies still have a path forward. The third ancestor nodded, though they can't become Tao Masters, they can still go far. Immortality isn't true immortality. The further you go, the higher the possibility. Lin Moyu understood, I can agree to your exchange terms, but I have a condition. Go on. I promise the Star Lords to find suitable successors, so I can't give you the legacy items directly. You can designate a successor, and if I find them suitable, I'll pass the legacy to them. And the falling Star Lord's legacy, I can't give it up. I still need it. If you agree, we can discuss further. If not, then forget it. Lin Moyu laid it out clearly, waiting to see if the third ancestor would agree. The promises he made must be fulfilled. Chapter 2858, 2858. Chapter 2858, You truly are a businessman. Lin Moyu was firm in his stance. If the third ancestor didn't agree, there was no need to continue the conversation. Even if he couldn't buy the Star Lord legacy items from the Lufeng Merchant Association, Lin Moyu wouldn't regret it. At worst, he would slowly search for them himself, believing that with his luck, he would eventually find them. If necessary, he could delay his advancement to Tao Sovereign. Lin Moyu was confident that with his luck, he would find what he needed. If the third ancestor intended to use it as leverage, it would be useless. The third ancestor thought for a moment and said, "Since you have a promise with the Star Lords, I won't force you. Tell Xiaolian your requirements, and let her pick the people for you to see." The third ancestor decided to go along with Lin Moyu's decision and let him choose. If he found satisfactory and suitable candidates, their transaction could proceed. Lin Moyu thought for a moment and listed his requirements based on the cultivation attributes of the Cold 9-Star Lord and the 2-Wind Star Lord. He was meticulous, considering even the smallest details. Xiaolian, following Lin Moyu's requirements, began the selection process. The Lufeng Merchant Association was vast, with at least 1 million members. Most were in the eastern continent, with some in the southern continent and other continents. Lu Lian had detailed records of all these members, from their birth to their growth, including every cultivation session, family, personality, and conduct. Based on Lin Moyu's criteria, Lu Lian quickly selected suitable candidates. There were 12 candidates for the Cold 9-Star Lord's legacy. There were 6 candidates for the 2-Wind Star Lord's legacy. To inherit the Cold 9-Star Lord's legacy, one must be close to the Great Tao of Ice, and the purer, the better. Perception was secondary. The main requirement was purity and focus. For the 2-Wind Star Lord's successor, they needed strong perception to comprehend 2 types of wind. These winds were opposites, such as light and heavy, cold and hot, fast and slow. Lu Lian presented all the candidates' information to Lin Moyu for selection. Xiaolian's selections were all geniuses, with strong qualifications and good perception. Lin Moyu focused on their character. Those who met Lin Moyu's requirements were already outstanding individuals. Character was analyzed from their daily words and deeds and attitudes towards matters. After analysis, Lin Moyu found that these people had good character. The Lufeng Merchant Association's model was somewhat like the human race of the Great World, with Lu Lian similar to the human emperor, managing the entire association. In this model, everyone had to act according to rules, and those who didn't were eliminated early. Lin Moyu reviewed them. These people are all fine. Are they in the eastern continent? If so, gather them for me to see. The third ancestor said, "You want to see their luck, right?" Lin Moyu nodded, "Yes, whoever has the strongest luck will get it. If it's just about luck, no need to gather them. Xiaolian, show the 2 with the best luck." The scene before Lin Moyu changed, leaving only 2 people. One met the Cold 9-Star Lord's legacy requirements, the other met the 2-Wind Star Lord's. The third ancestor said, "Every member of the Lufeng Merchant Association has their luck checked regularly. Are you satisfied with these 2? Lin Moyu nodded, "No problem. With the capabilities of the Lufeng Merchant Association, they could naturally obtain treasures to check luck." Lin Moyu had no doubts about the third ancestor's words. He took out 2 legacy items from the 1000-Star Great Tao. Although the legacy items left the 1000-Star Great Tao, the starlight within remained brilliant. The true starlight came from the Great Tao stars outside the origin continent, and outside the origin continent, 3 stars had already merged with the 1000-Star Great Tao and would not separate again. What Lin Moyu took out were merely the legacy items of the stars, which would no longer affect the 1000-Star Great Tao. The third ancestor took the legacy items of the Cold 9-Star Lord and the 2-Wind Star Lord, smiling broadly, "Not bad, not bad. Once the 1000-Star Great Tao revives, these top Star Lord legacies will be valuable. 2 Star Lords, if they could reach the end, would be 2 Great Tao realm powerhouses. Far stronger than those wayward Holy Land ancestors." Then the third ancestor had Lu Lian deliver the Star Lord legacy items. There were 6 in total, but none were from top Star Lords, which was why the third ancestor hadn't used them. For him, quality was more important than quantity. Lin Moyu was different. He wanted more, the more the better. Exchanging 1 for 3 was worthwhile in his view. Lin Moyu didn't hesitate, summoning the 1000-Star Great Tao and tossing all 6 legacy items into it. The 1000-Star Great Tao gained 6 more stars, bringing the total to 9. However, these 6 stars were noticeably dimmer than the previous 3. That's the difference. Even if someone became a Star Lord with these 6 stars, reaching the Great Tao realm, their combat power would still be inferior to some top Great Tao realm beings. The gap within the Tao sovereign realm was significant, and the gap within the Great Tao realm would be even greater. In the Great Tao stars above the origin continent, 6 more stars voluntarily flew into the 1,000-star Great Tao. The stars rumbled and trembled, and the 1,000-star Great Tao emitted more origin power. The origin power had a precise target, crossing space to land on Lin Moyu. A flood of insights came, and Lin Moyu's grasp of the 1,000-star Great Tao deepened. Lin Moyu couldn't help but think that with just a few words, he and the third ancestor had decided the fate of 2 people. The 2 chosen individuals would never imagine how they became Star Lord successors. They might think it was due to their hard work, but it was really just good fortune. In a moment of realization, Lin Moyu felt he had reached another level, deciding others' fates with a few words. Unknowingly, he seemed to have become a higher up in the origin continent. After the transaction, Lin Moyu asked, "Third ancestor, I want to know if there are any Star Lord legacy items for sale." The third ancestor answered bluntly, "No, what are you thinking? If there were, I would have sent someone already, it wouldn't be your turn." Lin Moyu laughed, "The third ancestor has high standards, some legacies might not be to your liking." The third ancestor said, "Though there are no definite leads, there are many rumors of origin secret vaults you can buy. You never know, those origin secret vaults might contain Star Lord legacies, like the Starwind secret vault." Lin Moyu gave a thumbs up, "Third ancestor, you truly are a businessman." The third ancestor chuckled, "Of course, you can discuss this business with Lu Lian directly, I won't be involved. Brother Shaho, it's about time you started cultivating. Correcting the path you've strayed from will take time." Shaho Yuan nodded, "I know, once you've finished this transaction, I'll start cultivating." Shaho Yuan's path was similar to those wayward ancestors. But he was younger and had the third ancestor's help, giving him a chance to correct it. The third ancestor squinted at Lin Moyu, "When you went to the god-slaying sect, did you get 5 jade stones?" Lin Moyu knew the third ancestor must have spoken with the god-slaying sect's leader, as he hadn't mentioned it to the third ancestor. He didn't deny it, "Yes, I did get 5 jade stones." The third ancestor's tone became serious, "Keep those 5 jade stones safe, and remember, don't activate them until you reach the Great Tao realm. Otherwise, not only you but many others could die." Chapter 2859, 2859. Chapter 2859, Inheritance is also a form of wealth. Leaving the space where the third ancestor resided, Lin Moyu was still contemplating the last words spoken by the third ancestor. At that time, the third ancestor's tone was very serious, a strong warning. "The sect master of the god-slaying sect told me that the secret vault contains wealth left by those at the Great Tao realm. But the third ancestor told me not to open them until I reach the Great Tao realm." Secret vaults, them. Lin Moyu keenly grasped the difference in their words, which was the key point. Neither of them would lie. The secret vault must be a secret vault, but not just one. The 5 jade stones are keys to the secret vault, and there may be more than one vault they can open. In the third ancestor's words, regardless of which vault, they are extremely dangerous. If opened recklessly, not only would I die, but many others would too. This implies that the danger in the secret vaults might be related to the extraterrestrial gods. The sect master also mentioned that the secret vault contains much wealth left by those at the Great Tao realm. Wealth can take many forms, and inheritance is certainly one of them. Lin Moyu gradually sorted out his thoughts. The third ancestor's warning not only served as a caution but also had life-saving implications, allowing him to consider many possibilities. Perhaps even the third ancestor didn't realize how useful his words would be. Originally, Lin Moyu planned to open the secret vaults after reaching the Tao Sovereign 7th realm, but now it seemed he should wait even longer. Returning to his courtyard, Lin Moyu began reviewing the information he purchased from Lu Lian. He bought information about secret vaults. There are many secret vaults in this world, and the Lufeng Merchant Association couldn't possibly explore every one. If they did, they would undoubtedly become the world's enemy. Many secret vaults are not located in the southern continent or the eastern continent but in the northern and western continents. For now, Lin Moyu wasn't considering the vaults in those 2 places. He wasn't interested in the southern continent either. Lin Moyu was currently looking at the secret vaults in the eastern continent. There are currently 8 known secret vaults in the eastern continent, scattered across various locations. 3 of these vaults are near the demon race's territory, with one in a closed state and the other 2 opening occasionally. Another vault is near the battlefield between the dragon and insect races. This one is open year-round, but few go there. If unlucky, encountering the dragon or insect races would be dangerous. The dragon race is very arrogant, looking down on everyone. In the human territory, there are only 2 vaults, with one not in a closed state. The last 2 vaults are currently open, but they are very far away. They don't belong to any race, rather, they are the territory of spirit beasts. Anyone entering risks being attacked by spirit beasts. Lin Moyu frowned. Could it be the Eastern Spirit Empire? The map he had didn't mark the Eastern Spirit Empire. Probably only a few people knew the real location of the Eastern Spirit Empire. The Eastern continent is so vast, Lin Moyu couldn't guess. After much consideration, Lin Moyu decided to first visit the nearest secret vault. The vault is called the Thunder Vault, about 30 million kilometers from the merchant city. At the speed of an origin shuttle, it would take about 10 days of full-speed flight. Lin Moyu thought of Shaho Yuan's flying boat. Incredibly fast. 30 million kilometers might take just a day. But that was just wishful thinking. Even if given such a flying boat, he couldn't operate it. Putting aside unrealistic thoughts, Lin Moyu refocused and began condensing Dao patterns. He had already condensed one Dao pattern and gained some experience. Even if interrupted midway, it wouldn't matter, it wouldn't affect him. With more practice, he could even use it in combat. Lu Fengyao said she would come in 2 days. If not for waiting for her, Lin Moyu could have left immediately. Sure enough, 2 days later, Lu Fengyao and Lu Shudao arrived together. Lu Fengyao was the happiest about Lu Shudao's safe return. Although the 3rd ancestor was their ancestor, he didn't seem to care much about Lu Shudao. Instead, the 3rd ancestor was very concerned about Lu Fengyao. It made sense, the Lu family was large, and losing a Dao sovereign 7th realm like Lu Shudao wouldn't cause much of a stir. At most, it would be the loss of an ancestor, which might be painful but not crippling. Lu Fengyao was different. She was the chosen successor of the 3rd ancestor, who invested heavily in her, making her life the most important. Lin Moyu welcomed them in, and Lu Fengyao solemnly said, "Thank you, Lin Shaodi, for helping me bring my father back." Lin Moyu said, "Didn't you already thank me? No need to be so formal, Sister Fengyao." Lu Fengyao laughed. "Regardless, I must thank you." Serious for less than 3 seconds, Lu Fengyao reverted to her usual self. Lin Moyu asked, "Sister Fengyao, you asked me to wait 2 days. Is there something you need?" Lu Fengyao nodded. "Yes, yesterday the hurricane warship arrived from the demon race, and there's something on it I thought you might want, so I brought it for you." Lu Fengyao, since becoming a Dao sovereign, had many privileges within the Lu Feng Merchant Association. Her authority sometimes surpassed even the mid-level Dao sovereign 4th realm members of the Lu family. She had the right to know what was on the hurricane warship. Lin Moyu was curious, what could the demon race have? Lu Fengyao smiled mysteriously and handed something directly to Lin Moyu. "See if you want it." What she handed over was a bone, silver in color, with golden lines flowing on its surface. Sensing it with his spiritual sense, Lin Moyu felt the bone's intense spirituality and strong origin power. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. Lu Fengyao had given him a spiritual material, and a high-grade one at that. Holding the spiritual material, Lin Moyu said, "Thank you, Sister Fengyao." Lu Fengyao giggled, "I knew you'd want it." Lin Moyu nodded, "I do need it. How much does it cost, Sister Fengyao?" Lu Fengyao said, "It's a gift, not for sale." Lin Moyu said, "That doesn't seem right, spiritual materials are valuable." Lu Fengyao said, "No matter how valuable, is it worth more than my father's life?" Lu Shudao chuckled, "Lin Xiaoyu, just accept it. It's just a piece of spiritual material." Lu Fengyao said, "Exactly, I have that much authority." Lin Moyu didn't stand on ceremony and accepted the spiritual material. Lu Fengyao said, "I have a few more things you might want, but this time they'll cost you." Lin Moyu laughed, "All right, name your price, Sister Fengyao." Lu Fengyao knew what Lin Moyu needed, and next, she took out a remnant of a 4th-level origin spirit vein, valuable even as a remnant. Lu Fengyao named her price, and Lin Moyu didn't haggle. Having just received so much, he couldn't haggle. Of course, Lu Fengyao's price was reasonable, at market value. Then Lu Fengyao took out another 4th-level origin spirit vein, and Lin Moyu bought it without hesitation. Spiritual materials, origin spirit veins, and remnants of origin spirit veins were all things Lin Moyu needed. These items were rare and not easily found. Lin Moyu was very grateful that Lu Fengyao remembered him. The third ancestor, in his space, witnessed the transaction and sighed, so generous. Chapter 2860, 2860. Chapter 2860, Why condensing Tao patterns is not difficult at all. After chatting with Lin Moyu for a while, Lu Fengyao left, but not before Lin Moyu asked her to find suitable materials for him. Besides the 3 items mentioned, he also asked for a Star Lord's legacy item or related information. Although he knew it wouldn't be easy to obtain, it didn't hurt to ask. After Lu Fengyao left, Lin Moyu entered his soul world to start feeding. The spiritual material went into the mouth of infinite fusion, which digested it without any visible change in appearance. However, Lin Moyu knew it had grown stronger, even if it wasn't needed for anything at the moment. The origin spirit vein was fed to the bone hell, which grew amid rumbling. Last time, the bone hell consumed a 3rd-level origin spirit vein, causing only minor changes. The hellish fiends remained at the Tao Sovereign First Realm, with a coverage range of 1,000 kilometers, and the patterns on the Hellgate became more refined, reaching a combat power equivalent to the Tao Sovereign Third Realm. The 3rd-level origin spirit vein hadn't caused a qualitative change in the bone hell, so Lin Moyu didn't know what the 4th-level origin spirit vein would do. He could only wait. After the bone hell swallowed the 4th-level origin spirit vein, the magma boiled violently, erupting with columns of fire. The hellish fiends screamed in unison. The entire hellish world was in turmoil. The first change appeared at the Hellgate. The patterns on the Hellgate became clearer and more refined. About 1/3 of the Hellgate was covered in intricate patterns. The second change was in the Eye of Hell, which ignited with flames, growing stronger and emitting a dense origin power. This origin power came from the origin spirit vein, very pure. Lin Moyu carefully sensed it and found that the origin power emitted by the Eye of Hell seemed somewhat similar to the lunar origin. Though it burned with flames, it felt extremely cold, contrasting sharply with the hellish magma. Lin Moyu couldn't understand this change, but it wasn't important. The Eye of Hell had indeed grown stronger, its powerful force surging. Lin Moyu had no doubt that anyone at the Tao Sovereign First Realm would suffer greatly if swept by the Eye of Hell. Even if they survived, they'd be injured. Below the Tao Sovereign, it would be a massacre. The third change was in the nether black pool beneath the Hellgate. The nether black pool began to emit black gas, spinning several times faster, as if something was about to emerge. Lin Moyu sensed it and knew the nether black pool was close to a breakthrough. The origin spirit vein's power was strong, and the bone hell was being strengthened layer by layer, the magma boiling more fiercely, and the bone hell's range finally began to expand. The coverage range increased from 1,000 kilometers to 2,000 kilometers. The hellish fiends split continuously, increasing from 1 million to 2 million. After splitting, the hellish fiend's aura didn't decrease but instead rose, quickly breaking through to the Tao Sovereign's second realm. The bone hell's advancement was smooth, with significant increases in both range and combat power, except for the otherworldly flower and the 10 fireballs in the sky, which remained unchanged. Lin Moyu felt that even a Tao Sovereign Fourth Realm would struggle to escape if surrounded by the bone hell. Unless they had a powerful treasure or a particularly strong Great Tao True form. Within the same realm, the bone hell was almost invincible. The remnants of the 4th-level origin spirit vein belonged to the world tree. The world tree took the origin spirit vein remnants under its roots, using the remaining origin power as nourishment. The world tree grew again, producing many world fruits and spiritual flowers. Lin Moyu felt that the spiritual flowers' effects seemed to have increased again, but there was no qualitative change. The world tree was still in its growth phase, not yet advancing to the next stage. The world tree's growth was very slow, requiring high-level origin spirit vein remnants in his own realm to improve. In Lin Moyu's understanding, the world tree was his talent tree and his companion tree. Without his growth, the world tree couldn't truly grow. Only by becoming stronger could the world tree grow with him. He was the true foundation of the world tree. The world tree extended a branch, gently rubbing against Lin Moyu's waist, expressing its affection. In the eyes of the world tree, Lin Moyu was the closest person, without exception. 6 million kilometers from the merchant city, amidst the mountains, Lin Moyu appeared at the foot of a mountain, accompanied by spatial distortion. After determining the direction, Lin Moyu took out the origin shuttle and flew towards the sky as a stream of light. He had the third ancestor use the origin spirit vein to send him here, saving several days of travel. For such a small request, the third ancestor naturally agreed. Lin Moyu controlled the origin shuttle while multitasking, condensing Dao patterns. The third Dao pattern was gradually forming, and so far, Lin Moyu hadn't felt any pressure. Everything seemed smooth. He didn't feel that condensing Dao patterns was difficult at all. It's really strange. Before reaching the Dao sovereign realm, the first Dao pattern is supposed to be very difficult, and each additional one exponentially increases the difficulty. But I don't feel anything. The first Dao pattern appeared naturally, the second formed almost instantly with the great Dao reward. Now it's the third one, still no difficulty. At this rate, it should be done in 10 days. Compared to those who take hundreds of years, this is lightning fast. Lin Moyu found it strange, wondering why this was happening. Even with multiple great Daos, it wasn't a reason for this ease. Thinking again, even with a soul at the Dao sovereign third realm, it wasn't a reason for such ease. Cultivation rules are not easily broken. Moreover, he could multitask, condensing Dao patterns with ease. This situation felt surreal to Lin Moyu. He remembered his first encounter with runes in the great world, where it seemed the same. What was difficult for others to master, he learned at a glance, achieving perfection after a few uses. The same happened with formations. What others studied for centuries, he grasped in hours. It seemed that whatever he learned, he mastered quickly. What is going on? Lin Moyu thought for a long time but couldn't understand, so he set it aside. 5 days later, Lin Moyu felt even more adept at condensing Dao patterns, requiring little effort. He began to multitask, dividing his attention to study formations. He studied device formations and rune formations together, continuing to explore how to merge them. His current formation skills allowed him to easily set up 6th level formations. Whether device or rune formations, 6th level posed no problem. Even integrating runes into device formations wasn't an issue, though those runes couldn't form a standalone formation, merely enhancing the device formation rather than combining two types. Lin Moyu continued his research, knowing that success would greatly enhance formation power. Merging two 6th level formations could rival a 7th level formation.